And we are live. What's going on, people? I see you calling me Sadiqa. Couldn't answer because obviously I'm going live. But let's get right into it. I didn't give any intros. I didn't get any preamble on this live. I didn't give any anyway. Due to the fact that it's like, I was already building up and I didn't have time. So I just jumped in right in. So here we go. The reason I'm doing this is because as I look through Twitter, and I look through a lot of the other content creators' content. I'm watching a lot of people now that I haven't even, been watching lately, due to the fact that I want to be a little bit more informed before I start speaking on players, right? So now I'm starting to listen, I'm starting to watch, and my phone is always listening. If you talk near your phone, obviously you say cat enough times near your phone's going to start giving you, pictures of kitty litter. That's really how it goes, right? But a lot of videos have come across me, not just talking about some of the players that we're talking about in the draft, and even players that I'm actually discussing as well, right? I'm having to be a little more careful in the way I'm speaking because I realize even when I'm on Twitter, people aren't looking for context. People will look at the last, you know, I guess the last reply that you've made, or they'll look at one video or some low lights, things like that, and then they start going off, right? And I know a lot of you are in the chat. It's a reason why I'm not reading the chat at this point because in the beginning of this video, first thing I'm going to do is just go all the way in, and then I'll take a break, and I'll get through a lot of the shout outs so that the point is not missed. Because I've realized a lot of the videos that I've done recently, I get a little choppy and I'll miss some of my points because you guys will take me in a different direction with the great questions that you ask. So no offense to anybody, I will jump in and start answering those questions and giving my shout outs, and I'll let you guys just join up, and then we'll start from there. You will be able to read the ticker at the bottom of the screen and see those chats, and the first 30 minutes or so will be dedicated to me just trying to hit the points that I intended to make in the beginning of the video, so that I'm not going 2 hours trying to make a point that I should have made in the first 15 minutes, if you understand what I mean, right? But I'll start with the criticism, the harsh criticism that we give a lot of these young players, and I think that I'm probably one of those guys who started that in the beginning of my game. Right when I first started this, I was very critical of Dak Prescott, who was a young player. So I won't say it without throwing myself into the mix or into the fray as well, because I'm not innocent. If you're looking at me, retroactively, I'm not innocent either. I've done this with players or two players to some degree. Now, with that said, though, I have changed just as Dak Prescott obviously has changed, and my opinion on Dak Prescott has changed as a result as well, right? But if you just judge me as a analyst from that perspective, you would say he's highly emotional, he's a fan, he doesn't like Dak Prescott, and he loves Des Bryant, right? That would have been true in that window in that time. But as you grow into what it is that you're doing and you start to understand the impact of what it is that you're doing, also the fact that this is a living testament, so to speak, right? No one is, their worst day and no one's their best day. It's, somewhere in between is always the gray, right? My goal is to look at people, places, and things and players and look at the journey that they make or not. Now, if that is missing, meaning they're not looking to progress or they're doing things that are unbecoming of what they claim they're focused on, like doing things outside of the game or off the field that may hurt them. Those things I judge a lot more harsh because I know you're not truly trying or you're not truly focused. But if I can see those progress points in your game off in the off season and so on, I look at it a little bit differently, right? So when you think about South Central, the movie, right? Remember, he had to. It was about a gangster who went to jail. You know what I mean? Came home and had to save his son from going down the same path he went down. So I'm not calling all these content creators my sons. Some of them my sons. I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna name no names. Y'all know who my sons is out here, man. You know what I mean? They don't like me. The ones who don't, they my sons. You know what I mean? But truth be told, no, all jokes aside, you know, a lot of them are going down that path where they are very tilted and very polarizing when it comes to the takes that they're making. And I think they're doing it either for hot takes or they truly think that players are in a vacuum or people are in a vacuum, just like themselves. None of us are our best day or our worst day, right? So with that said, right, when you look at like a story like Rocky Balboa, right? Rocky Balboa, literally, the name is his name is rock bottom. Like Rocky is stone or rock, and then Balboa is about, it comes from a word like bolus velus, which means low valley. So his name is Rock Low Valley, meaning rock bottom. Almost literal translation is rock bottom. And his movie, the first movie, was about him going from a bum or from a low life to the top, right? So the movie is about rock bottom to the top, and Apollo Creed's name is literally the sun. So the names of those individuals and the movie align in that sense. Somebody probably was doing something occult with that. I ain't even gonna get into that. But the movie is about going from rock bottom to the sun. And in today's era, players don't get that grace that they used to get when it comes to just watching them progress, watching them build, because we're in a microwave culture where everybody wants you to be a Pro Bowler day one, right out of the gate. And some guys are. Micah Parsons is one. We get a couple guys that come out and they just kill from day one. They do well, and that's great. Some guys, they strike lightning because they get to the right coaching staff, they get into the right situation. They have the right opponents and they're in the right division. A lot of things got to happen for you to really do well your first year in the NFL. And it's not just you're a great player. You could be a great player, but you can get hurt your first game or your first week or your first month, and now you're behind the eight ball. You know what I'm saying? Or you can have a coach who hates you. Ask Shador Sanders and Kevin Stefanski. You know what I mean? If you have a coach that is not rooting for you to win and not doing things that are becoming of you developing, that's a difficult hill to climb for a young player. And while they're dealing with those, uncontrollable aspects to their career and to their game, they're having to deal with us too, who are judging from the outside looking in. Number one, I know I'm still guilty of that, regardless of how well I prove things with the film. You only can get but so close to the game from a computer. You know what I mean? I'm not in the locker room. I'm not in those people's heads, and I'm not in the coach's mind to understand what it is that they're saying, or the players themselves, right? But when you deal with that, like you got to be careful. And the reason I say that is, there's a lot of talk about, and I was doing this back and forth with uh, Foots about CJ Allen, right? And I realized nobody's really paying attention to where I'm coming from, because once I say that CJ Allen is not my first round pick or not my guy for, as a linebacker in the middle of the field. Now I don't mind it if it's later on in the draft, obviously, right? But the reason I bring that up is because I think a lot of people think that because I say I don't want him in the first round, they say that I think he's trash. It's like automatically it goes from he's not a first rounder to me to trash. But I also stated that Jacob Rodriguez is my favorite overall middle linebacker in the draft. But I said he's a third round pick. So the pick and the value that I place upon them is not based on how well I think they'll play in the system or how well I think they'll play in the league. It's, how freakish or explosive their skill set is coming into the league. You know what I mean? I think that's what first rounders generally are. Like, how well did your production plus your ability, translate to, from college to the NFL? And does it look like, you have the frame and or tools to be able to grow into something even greater, where we can't find something like this anywhere, right? That's what I say your first round pick. Second round pick is some of those guys that may have been injured or may have, questions about them, or, it could be something, right, where they're consistent, but one or two of those points aren't being met. So obviously those individuals might not make it to the first round, in my opinion, right? But with that said, just because you don't like a particular player doesn't mean that player is trash. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. That don't mean I'm a hater. You know what I'm saying? I'm hating when I try to down you because I don't like your game or because I don't quite understand the context, right? It's funny because I was making this video anyway. I was talking about this topic, not because of what just happened on Twitter, but I had a very good conversation with a representative. I won't name any names right now. As I get to know him, we'll start talking more, and then we'll go from there. But it's a representative of Rashan Gary, right, who reached out to me. We talked for about an hour or so. Great conversation, man. And he was just like, "Hey, man, you're one of the one content creators who comes out and speaks on the players and speaks on these things, and you keep it real. You don't care about what anybody says, and you don't care if you offend other people, but you also aren't just digging at the players, even when you see things that aren't good. You're doing the good, bad, ugly, so on, right? Because, like I said, no one's their worst play, no one's their best play unless you stop playing on those plays. Like if you go out on your on a 3-point game winner, then that is what it is. Get what I'm saying? Let me look in the comments just to make sure you guys can hear me. I want to make sure because sometimes it's a problem, and y'all not gonna hear me. Right? All right, good, got that. But all right, back to it. So with that said, right, when you look at players like I said, Rashan Gary, for instance, you look at a lot of the things that he's done. Like he's a Pro Bowler in this league, right? I hear a lot of people talk, especially you've seen me and go back and forth with Boss and Lou and a lot of people about his lack of ability to pass rush and yada yada yada. Right? You're talking about a guy who played 3 tech in college. He played outside linebacker as well, or defensive end as well. Right? Was a beast, 6'5", 280, runs a 4.5. Right? Long arms, can do a little bit of everything for you. Very well rounded, very strong player. And I thought that last year, and I actually went back to look too, but I thought that last year when Micah Parsons left here to team up with him, everybody said, "Oh my God, they got the best outside linebacker group maybe in the league." You know what I mean? They were arguing that, right? People were like, "Damn, the Packers are loaded," right? Everybody was saying that. Now, before Micah Parsons got there, this young man got 7.5 sacks. Once Micah Parsons got there, he got 7.5 sacks. He did pretty much the same. Micah Parsons got hurt, obviously, but he did pretty much the same with or without Micah Parsons. So it makes you ask, like, okay, y'all liked him when he was doing this same thing over there. When Parsons went over there, we were complaining that him and Parsons were going to be dominant, and he was. The first 7-8 games of the league, a season, he was leading the league in sacks until obviously Micah Parsons probably started complaining because you started seeing Rashan Gary rush a lot less, start rerouting tight ends before making his way to the quarterback, and still getting pressures from that, but he wasn't as effective, right? Because even after Micah Parsons got hurt, they still were doing that with him. Hey, I want you to reroute tight ends, and then they were using him like Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel's a guy that they reroute, they do a lot of dirty work with, dropping coverage, and then he gets sacks too. But they're like, that's not his primary objective, right? And that wasn't Rashan Gary's either. But once he came here, all of the reporters, all of them, they get on TV or they get on YouTube or they get on some sort of content channel and they start downing him as if all of a sudden he just forgot how to play football. And that is where these cycles of narratives start to get on or get under my skin, so to speak, right? Someone just sent it because this was like the topic that I was coming up with, but somebody just sent me, I think it was Flame, shout out to Flame, but he sent me a breakdown of Harold Perkins where young man took his game, I think against A&M. I'm not sure who he's playing, but they just took his low lights from that game and I think another 2 games. And they were talking about Harold Perkins not being able to get off blocks, not being able to be effective versus the run, and they were judging him at linebacker, right? Without the context of saying that, number one, Harold Perkins was not playing in the position that he played in when we liked Harold Perkins, when he was rated, one of the top linebackers in college football. He was outside linebacker / nickel. Last year, he was a safety, nickel, playing in the slot, mainly covering all game, playing in space, which he hadn't done ever, on a knee that he was recovering from. So that's context. So when you look at that, you take the season, this is what I did anyway, you take the season that he put on film, and you say, okay, I can understand where he was at with that, right? But I got to compare what he did on film this year. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button if you haven't already. I'm going to get into that. But I had to compare what he did last year with what he wasn't or was doing in 2023. And when you do that, you find some discrepancies, especially with the way he was used. You went from a guy that was never in space, always, just in the flat and on the edge, versus a guy that's running and chasing wide receivers up the field and being graded, though, not as a safety or a corner or a DB, but as a linebacker. So his PFF grades went down, right? Which brings me to a crazy point. PFF is a organization that grades using algorithms and people in conjunction, right? They just let a lot of people go, a lot of people I know, but mainly algorithm and people. When you're looking at it from that standpoint, you're saying, okay, well, how much does AI really know? Number one, I don't trust AI. AI be lying to me. I catch Chat GBT lying all the time. And I ask it, like, why are you lying? And it'll be like, thank you for try it. Thank you for keeping holding me accountable or hold me to the point, right? They'll really correct themselves, but it lies, right? But I'm not saying that PFF is lying. But I will say that when you have an organization that is not only using AI to grade, but also very political, meaning they understand the impact that they have, how people lean on PFF over actual analysis, human analysis. They'll lean on PFF. I hear people telling me after I look at a player, they're like, his PFF score in that game was da 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 da. Well, I'm like, well, okay, I can listen to that, or I could just watch the impact that I'm looking at firsthand, right? Like, for example, you can go back to Bullett's PFF score for the Saints game, week 14 last year, right? Bullard, I think, was scored. I think he had a 77 or 76 PFF grade. But when you watch the 17 snaps that he had in that game versus the run, he was the most dominant guy on the field versus the run, including the linebackers, safeties, other linemen, defensive end. He was the guy, right? But I said, well, how are they scoring? It has to be political, right? But if I go into that, people will say I'm hating. But why would I? I don't know PFF. There's not a person to me. But people will say that that's hate when really it's just proper context. You know what I mean? You grade people according to what they're doing on the field. But not only that, you don't degrade them based off of things that you're not witnessing yourself, right? People will go say, well, Packers fans say Rashan Gary is whatever, he didn't have a sack in the last 8 weeks. Well, let's put that in. That might be true, which it is, but let's put it in the context. Like, was it he wasn't getting sacks because he was lazy? Was it he wasn't getting sacks because he wasn't trying? Which was some of the things that were being implied by the Packers media and Micah Parsons near the end of the season, which is why the Packers fans probably started saying that when we got him, because they say, oh, Micah Parsons said something about people not really doing everything they can to get there, right? Or while he's not showing up to practice, which is crazy to me, and not watching film either. We had that version of him as well, but it was worse because he actually had a podcast too, which obviously I'm not hating on podcasts. I'm on one, right? But at the same time, how focused can you be if instead of watching film, you're watching yourself, right? So that goes without saying. And then we had, obviously we know the Trayvon Diggs issue too, and those guys were bosom buddies. And you can see how focused Trayvon Diggs was or wasn't last year when he exited and was trying to exit to go rejoin his bosom buddy. And how did that end? How did that end? You know what I mean? So when we look at these things, right? We're not, wrong. I know I'm not when I look at it, because Micah Parsons, while here, he was arguing with the other establishment here, which is D-Law. Now, I don't think that I'm not trying to imply that there was arguments or there was a rift between Gary and Parsons. No. But I do know that a guy jumped out all the way up until October, was leading the league in sacks. He was doing very well. And suddenly he just forgot how to get to the quarterback. I don't understand how you can think that that's possible without looking at each game and saying, why was Gary not finishing? Some plays were him not finishing. He had opportunities where people would escape. The other was, well, he wasn't playing with Kenny Clark anymore, so the A gap wasn't what it used to be. That's number one. Number two, you have a guy who went from being a guy who can just get off the ball in the first 8 games of the season. You can see Gary's at the line of the scrimmage, not trying to reroute himself, going straight at the quarterback, going straight through his man to get there. Versus second half of the season, you see him straddling, grabbing, two-gapping with tight ends just to reroute them and give the defensive backs time, shedding them, now engaging with a tackle, pressing him, and then getting pressures and things like that while doing 2 things instead of 1, right? Not being chipped. It's a difference. When you're chipped, you're being hit, and that happened as well. But in the games that he's being chipped, and I'm talking about 2-3 guys, chipped by running. He got chipped by Jahmyr Gibbs, chipped by another lineman inside and out. They were sometimes triple teaming Gary because of the start that he had to the season. He was still being productive. So it wasn't chips that I'm talking about. It was actual, he's not rushing. He's holding a tight end up, and I'm not, you guys think I'm wrong, look at it. He's holding tight ends up and making his way to the quarterback. So when I'm bringing that point up, it's not to try to make it seem like Rashan Gary is, Bruce Smith or Reggie White. I'm just saying he definitely didn't forget how to get to the quarterback the second half of the season. And just maybe, the guy that they're paying $50 million to, they wanted to build the defense around, right? Because it doesn't make much sense if you trade a guy for that type of money and that big of a splash deal, and you got a guy that you already had here that's trending 16 sacks in the season. I mean, if that would have happened, you kind of ask yourself, well, why did we go? Get what I mean? So obviously, narrative, both from a team perspective, from a player perspective, and from a fan perspective, definitely has something to do with that. But those who say that it doesn't or it has nothing to do with it, you know, you obviously, you're probably an NPC or you're probably lying for some reason. I don't know why. That's what you do, right? But the point is, players need time to understand, not only, for us to understand what they'll do in a new scheme, right? They need room to grow, right? The reason I brought up Rocky is because it trails or parallels a story called The Hero's Journey. The hero's journey is about going from rock bottom to the sun, or a hero falling and redeeming himself, right? You can't really do that in this era, it seems, not cleanly, because obviously everybody doubts. They've been doubting people for years. People doubt me all the time. People doubt everybody, right? You got to be able to deal with doubt, accept it, and move forward. That's part of life. But people think that those doubts are concrete and in stone at this point, right? And I can go player for player. Like, we had players like Travaris Ward who left here. Nobody thought anything of him because I think he was undrafted. He left here. He went to Kansas City. They picked him up off waivers. I think he won a Super Bowl with them, or he won a Super Bowl with San Fran. But he won a Super Bowl and I think went to 2, right? But became a Pro Bowler or All Pro in his 6th season. Right? It took him 6 seasons to do that. But before that, you could hear people talking about Travaris Ward being this or that, up and down seasons, not looking the greatest, not being the greatest. Right? We had our run-ins with it. We had Mozzie Smith here. Mozzie had a horrible first season. I won't lie, but he had a horrible first season. He was 290 pounds, trying to get off the ball and become what Dan Quinn wanted him to be, a one-gap upfield, another Osa Odigizua, right? Zimmer comes in and sees, hey, this guy ain't that. He's not that. And you can see in his second season, he had a very respectable second year starting 17 games. 41 tackles for a nose tackle, you know what I mean? 1 sack, about 4 or 5 tackles for loss, and he looked like he was burgeoning or budgeting to a level where he would be somebody that you could respect in this game, right? Well, another regime change. In comes Eberflus, back to the one gap need or scheme initially, and what happened? You know what I'm saying? Mozzie Smith right back to obscurity because they were saying he was inconsistent. So when you look at it from that standpoint, and you look at how people judge players and how we jump on and off bandwagons within 1-2 seasons, you see like it's crazy. And then even with Mozzie, there have been reports of Mozzie not feeling too great after games and very emotional, maybe even depressed. He said one thing about, I don't even like football. I just like hitting people. And all of a sudden it went wild where he don't love football. He don't even like football. You know what I mean? And that's crazy. I tell people I don't like football, right? And when I say that, I mean I don't get up for the games. I don't care if we lose. And what I mean by that, I mean my world is not going to crumble because the Dallas Cowboys lost. Some people are like that, and I'm not mad at you for that. But me, I lost loved ones that was close to me, and it put life into perspective. Yes, I love football to a degree, but I don't love it so much that it's going to change the trajectory of my life if it doesn't go well on the field, right? So that's different, right? But I've said that myself, but people will probably take that one soundbite and say, "Cool, you don't even like football." I say I don't watch football. I watch all 22, but that's because I don't want the film adulterated by what the broadcast people are saying, right? So even when you look at it from that standpoint, it's like, okay, understand that when people say certain things in a vacuum, it's not in stone. But I think I drove the point home with Dak Prescott, his progression, Sam Darnold, Perkins, I'm talking about now because he's a college player, us going back and forth about CJ. And I actually put Zach Bond in the thumbnail because when you look at even Zach Bond was a defensive end for New Orleans that did jack shit. He did nothing for like his first 3 or 4 years. And then suddenly, for some reason, I don't even know why, but a coach saw him, Fangio or CP or somebody, saw him and said, "Hey, this is my green dot middle linebacker. Or this is my middle linebacker, not green dot," because I think they said N'Kobe Dean with a green dot. Who knows? But this is my middle linebacker. And he became an All-Pro in his 5th year. He's been a Pro Bowler the last 2 seasons, and the only 2 seasons he was with Philadelphia. Just got a big contract as a result of that. But if we were going off of the sound bites that, especially if he was coming to the Cowboys last year, if he was coming to the Cowboys at this time in 2024, when he first got to the Eagles, if he was coming here and people would have been looking at what he did in New Orleans, we would have been talking about this man like he wasn't shit, and we would have been waiting for that shoe to drop for them to confirm the confirmation bias of him not being shit. That gotta stop, man. That definitely gotta stop. So the reason I made this video and the reason I jumped up there and start talking about it is because that's what keeps going on. Even when I speak against a player, I got to be careful of what I say, because people think that because I say I don't like a player for the scheme, that means he's trash. You know what I'm saying? Because and they don't want to give the good, bad, and the ugly. You see people giving highlights of all of his good plays and then all of his lowlights, and then one or the other becomes true. Last year with Kenneth Murray, and I think Kenneth Murray is an all-pro. That's how they acted as if I was acting. I said Kenneth Murray is a highly athletic linebacker that needs to finish better, which is still the truth. Very athletic, because of his RAS score in college, he had a very good one, and he needed to finish better, right? So if I say, hey, I can understand how a coach might want to use him because of his cover skills and his ability to cover ground, but he does need to finish better. I can understand how you could see yourself grabbing a guy like that. Now, did that mean he was good? No. But was he as bad as all of the low lights that we would show? Hell no. I would see games where they just show all of the tackles that he missed in a game, but showed none of the tackles or plays that he made. And that's not proper context. So when I would correct it, it's not me saying he's great. It's me saying, let's look at the whole picture and judge from that rather than judge it. If I judged your test by the one answer you got wrong and said you're dumb, you know what I mean? But I didn't show the ones you got right, it doesn't make any sense. That's not in context. So that was my point, man. And I think, like I said, that's what I do. What I do, both all the AKs that support this channel and the people that support what I do and the other people that I bump up against. That's what we're gonna be doing here, man. But I just wanted to get that out in the front, because I really get exhausted arguing with people about dumbass shit. People be talking about some dumb shit and it don't make no sense. As if either they never watched football, never played football, or they got no common sense. Right. So I don't know, man, but it's a lot of them. And I feel like Jon Snow and you remember Jon Snow, that meme that everybody keep putting up, Jon Snow in Game of Thrones, where everybody running at him, he pulled the sword up and he just like, I got my sword right here, matter of fact. But he pulled the sword up and he like, man, he just going at it with everybody. I bought this from a flea market with my daughter, and she was just like, she was hype about it. So I said, all right, I like this, John. I just keep it up here, y'all. I'm not crazy, y'all. Just like knives. You know what I mean? But either way, now I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna start talking and give y'all shout outs, and then we'll get into the film. What we're gonna look at today is a combination, right? We're gonna look at Rashan Gary, look at what he was doing in 2025 and 2024, and we're also gonna look at some just some film of trying to get an understanding for what Christian Parker might want to do at nickel based off of some of the things he stated. So that's what we're doing here, man. But I wanted to get that out the way first, because like I know I see y'all going in the chat all crazy. So I'm gonna read this chat. That's gonna be our break. And then when we come back from the break, you know, we're going to go into the film. But I appreciate all the AKs that already support the channel. Make sure that you are becoming members if you want to keep content like this going. I'm changing, obviously, you can see I'm changing the format to make sure I'm a little cleaner with my delivery. And that only helps me with the editing, so I don't have to, because I got people editing now and they like, well, what part you want me to, it's 3 hours. What part you want me to edit? And I got to make these guys watch 3 hours worth of film in order to pull 3 minutes, maybe 10 minutes worth of footage. So it doesn't, that's not time cost effective or time effective, because I got to pay for it. And so now we going to do it right. You know what I mean? But I appreciate y'all joining up, man. Make sure you become a member, because when you become a member, it helps me do what's coming on the second half of this video, which is the film. I like to do film and I like to do it live. I'm not going to Patreon. I'm not going to stop doing film, because then I'm going to probably stop doing this. So I'm gonna do the film. If I'm doing the film and they taking the credit for the film, I need members. So that's what y'all doing for me. And what I'm gonna do for you is keep it real and keep doing it. You know what I mean? But let me jump in the comments. What's up, Angie? I'm gonna talk to my members first, man. You already know how that go. Let me see who up here. Let me see who up here. Who I got? Talk to my members, man. Where they at? What's up, Sadiqa? Sadiqa called me. You don't be playing. Sadiqa be on my ass. What's up, Davey? Davey up there too. Let me see what they talking about. Y'all talking to each other mainly. Yeah, y'all talking to each other. What's up, fam? What's up, Devin, man? He said, hey, sis. He's talking to Sadiqa. All right, she said, if we can get 15 likes within 5 minutes, I will give 5 memberships for the month. I appreciate that, but I don't even know how many likes we got. Let me check that too, and then we'll get right into it. Definitely got the followers up though. I do appreciate that, man. Y'all really jumping in there and doing what y'all supposed to do with that. But let me see where we at. I got 53 likes, it's 83 viewers. That's pretty good. It's more than half, but let's get it up though. You know what I mean? It's 83 of y'all on here. All y'all gotta do right now is stop for just a half a second, take a deep breath, hit the like button, man. It ain't that hard. You know what I mean? That's the least you can do. Least you can do. And definitely share it. Do what you gotta do. What's up, Angie? What's up, Germ? Germ, you supposed to be a member too. You always in here, especially after that. After I ain't gonna forget that AI pick that you made for me, and that was dope, man. I need more of those if you can do more. Like, I mean, I'm actually looking for a new not a logo, but I'm about to do something with my intro. So I don't know what AI generator you use, but if you could do one with a video or something like that, I'll pay you for it, bro. I ain't even on no sucker shit. I got you. So just let me know. But hit me up and DM me on IG, and you can do that because I'm definitely putting something together. But I like the one that you did was probably one of the most realistic pictures that I've seen of AI generate of me anyway. So it's not cartoony. I liked it. That was good. What's up, Nipsey, Angie? I spoke to Reezy. Reezy always in the building, man. You know, when I was in the streets. I wasn't in the streets. I was a good guy. I was always a good man. You know what I mean? But I got in some beefs with some dudes with that with those types of names. I won't name their names because I ain't trying to start no old shit back up. You say some pup that I roughed up way back, coming back after all these years. You know how that go. So I won't even bring that up. But you always remind me of Philly with your names because it's are you from Philly? I don't even know. You might be. But I had beef with some people who had that type of moniker, the Easies at the end of their name, the whole team, all of them. You know what I mean? So you always remind me of Philly when I hear your name. It's just like Reezy. That's like how we talk. Those some of like nicknames that we give each other here in Philly. So that was dope. Like they call me Ye because of AKOYE. They think that's my name. Everybody think I'm because of my IG. They think I'm Nigerian. So they be like Ye or Yeezy. I'm not either one of those. I'm not Nigerian. Say it all the time. Accumulated knowledge over years of experience is what AKOYE means, or applied knowledge over years of experience, because that's what I'm doing now. Let's apply it. But for those who don't know, that's what it means. AKOYE, my kindred brother. What's up, man? What's good with you? Richmond, Cali, he said, I wouldn't take CJ Allen either in the first. I mean, that's all I'm saying. When I'm talking about CJ Allen, like I said, I'm careful about what I say because to say that I don't want CJ Allen is not accurate. I don't want him over Jacob Rodriguez because I think that they're similar players. They're not twitchy fast, but they're smart players, physical, can shed blocks and can get to the ball carrier, but to me, they're not first round picks, neither one, because of their athleticism. But that doesn't mean I don't think they'll be great in this league. Like I said, Fred Warner was a third round pick. I mean, now you probably say, well, Fred Warner should be a first round pick now, but not then. You get what I'm saying? You would say that about a lot of players. You like Demo when Demo actually had that breakout year, but like, damn, that's first round talent. But then when you look at how injured he's been with us, it's like, oh, okay. You might forget that. And that's the other thing. People forget when you get injured in this league, people forget that you ever was good in the first place, which is strange to me, man. But that's what they be doing. But when I talk about CJ, this is just the foots and those guys. When I talk about CJ Allen, I'm not talking from a standpoint of I don't think he's good. So when I ask a question or say something on Twitter, people forget that their echo chamber is not mine. So if I say something, they think that I'm trying to align it with whatever's been said by everybody that they've been battling. And I understand that because a lot of y'all, a lot of y'all done cursed out. I done cursed out a lot of fans that jump up and say certain things, and then they don't like me as much because they're like, damn, McCoy, why you come at me like that? But it'd be like, my bad, that was friendly fire, bro. Because I've been arguing with Eagles fans all day. I've been arguing with people who really been saying some snippy, crazy shit to me. And then you jump into the argument without context, not knowing that the heat that I got is already turned on from whatever's been going on. And then you jump in and might confirm or deny something that was said. Now I'm coming at you. And you think that is. So that's why I stopped. I try to stop doing that as much because, you don't really know friend from flow when you're doing it that way. But I understand that. When I talk about CJ, he's a great linebacker. That was my number one linebacker at one point until I found Jacob Rodriguez. And both of those guys were guys that I wanted when I thought we were going to come in with a scheme that was similar to last year, where guys were getting to guards were getting to the second level and knocking our guys, off the ball almost immediately. I said, oh, well, we can't have that. You know what I mean? We need guys who can shed blocks. Once I saw Marcus Dixon's scheme, that changed because I looked at the fact that a lot of linebackers run clean. I said, well, those guys will be great within the tackles, right? Still, they'll be getting a lot of tackles within the tackles. But the one weakness to Marcus Dixon's scheme, the one weakness to the Eagles scheme, the one weakness to ours last year when we were playing 5-man fronts were counter trays and outside runs and jet sweeps. Teams were beating us to the outside because those guys are big in between the tackles, but they ain't chasing shit. And if you can get outside the tackles, you can pin and pull one of those outside linebackers. You got some space and opportunity if you catch one of those linebackers biting on something that they were reading in the middle of the field. If they can't get sideline to sideline, you can beat them. So I said that changed my mindset. I said, we don't need the guys that can shed downhill as much as we need guys that can get to those edges. And I used Eric Wilson as an example. All he was fast enough. He's not a super strong guy. You can see he struggles to even bring down quarterbacks. Like he's struggling to bring you down because he's only 6'1", 230. He ain't got a lot of pop to him, but he can run. He can cover and he can run. And he had 115 tackles, 6.5 sacks, and 17 tackles for loss in this system. So it changed the type of linebacker I thought the Cowboys needed, which moved C.J. Allen from the top of my list and J-Rod from the top of my list. But that doesn't mean suddenly they became trash. That just means they're going to be great, maybe more so somewhere else. That doesn't mean I don't like them. Get what I'm saying? And if I don't like you, I don't like you. That don't mean I'm a hater. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to like you. You don't got to like me. That don't mean I hate you and I want to do something to you. That's where it gets a little different. You know what I mean? People blur those lines and I don't understand, man. I don't understand. But we going. Let's keep going. What's the old saying? Tape don't lie. Oh, yes, it do. I guess to somebody, because people be watching the tape and lying at the same time out one side of their mouth. I be seeing guys on TikTok. They getting views. If I wanted to get views, like y'all know how I am. If I want to, I can doctor up anything I want. Man, I'm good at editing for some reason. But I can doctor some shit up and make you look great, or I can make you look like a nut. But I know that's not genuine. So what I do is if I see a bad play, I go purposely look for a good play. Why? Because I want to see, like, if I was watching you as a coach or a scout, if I came here to say, oh, let me evaluate this player, I wouldn't leave as soon as you get pancaked. I'm like, all right, well, that I might look at the guard that pancaked you, though, say, well, damn, I might watch him too, because he pancaked this guy that I came to see, right? But I also might turn around and say, all right, well, how do you recover from that? Or if you got beat as a corner, how did you recover from that? What did he do next? You know what I'm saying? Did he make a play? I watched Trayvon Diggs when I was evaluating him in Alabama. He got beat by Jamar Chase bad. Ooh, ugly jaw. You can see it if you watch. If I didn't take that video down already, when I evaluated him coming out of college, he got beat versus Jamar Chase. The very next play, they threw a ball at him probably like 2 plays later. The next series, he got a pick. So I said, oh, he competitive. And he don't get down on himself when he get beat bad, right? So I like that in the player. You know what I mean? So those things have to be weighed and mentioned. Otherwise, you bullshit. And I don't care if you're talking about good or bad. If you say a player is all bad, but you show me none of the good, you a bullshitter. If you show me all of his good, and then when I ask you, well, okay, if I start saying things that I think he's doing bad at, and you're like, no, I mean, come on, no, none of that. Okay, so then I just ask you. I do this in arguments too. Because when you argue with somebody, like you're arguing with your wife or something, she's like, I don't agree with you. Well, what do you think you did wrong? And just sit quiet. If they tell you nothing, just stop talking because you know they bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? But they gotta now analyze themselves. You know what I'm saying? So if you ask a guy who's analyzing a player, say, hey, well, I might see things differently than you, right? You might not agree about how good this player is, but what do you think he does bad? I never get an answer when I do that. And if I do, I get an answer that it's now it's time to calm the conversation down. Why? Because obviously nobody's perfect. Not even Jordan or Kobe were perfect. But if you say, hey, what didn't they do well? Or what happened to, like, what games did they struggle? What type of players would they struggle against? You can say that without calling the guy trash. That don't mean he trash. It just means somebody might have his number. You know what I mean? Certain people got your number. You know what I mean? That is what it is. You know, certain teams you get up for, and that is what it is. You know, certain types of players, certain types of schemes you're gonna look good against. Some you ain't. That's just life. That's just life. You know what I mean? You can hear the exhaustion of me talking, man. You can hear it. He said, "Give me Hill Jr. and them Texas boys, and let's go." Yeah, I like Hill Jr. too. I like him in this scheme. I wouldn't like him if he had to. I didn't like him initially because I thought he would be one of those guys that needed to shed blocks. And unfortunately, when you play like for a team like Sonny Styles did and Hill did, what you don't see on the film with those guys is them having to shed a hell of a lot of blocks. That don't mean they can't. It just means they don't have to. But that ain't their fault necessarily. But it is something that you say, okay, they're not going to get free every play in the league, in the NFL. So now you got a problem. You know what I mean? So that's why I weighed it so heavily. Tell Reezy on the ones and twos. He said, bro, I think we trade up for Downs and they trade for Brooks. I saw that. I think they do go and address linebacker, maybe after the draft. I don't know. But Brooks wouldn't be a bad choice. Brooks plays in a similar scheme. And the reason he's an all-pro, everybody says all-pro like all pros make themselves. They don't. Ray Lewis was made because of his scheme and because of his team. And think about it, right? I can name the safeties that I love during this era, and I'm gonna get back to your point with Downs because he's a safety. So let's talk about it. Roy Williams brought me back to football, right? I said, who's 31 just running around smacking shit? He is smacking everybody. I love Roy Williams, right? Love him. Loved his game. When he had Zimmer, he was, oh my God, especially with the double A gap scheme. They was using him like Harrison Smith. He was always near the line of scrimmage, then he's moving around. You know, his job was pretty simple, right? So I liked Roy Williams then. But then he lost Zimmer. And what happened? They moved to a 3-4. He got moved 15 yards off the ball. And then he had coverage responsibilities in space. And suddenly people said, Roy Williams fell off. He didn't fall off. We changed our scheme. But his counterparts, because he was a 5-time Pro Bowler, his counterparts that played in his same era, Troy Polamalu, what's the difference between him and Roy Williams? Not just skill, scheme. He played with Dick LeBeau his entire career. So he played with a coach that knew exactly who he was and how to use him his entire career. Ed Reed, his scheme changed because of success. Their scheme changed. They lost a lot of coaches, but he had Ray Lewis who understood how to use him, and Ray Lewis caught a lot of shots for his entire career. And then you look at Brian Dawkins, another one. Brian Dawkins with the Eagles. He played with Jimmy Johnson, the defensive coordinator, Jimmy Johnson, for his entire career almost until he left and went to Denver. He was with Jimmy Johnson almost his whole career. So why do you think he was so great? He never left the coach that understood how to use him to his advantage. Roy Williams was the one who didn't have that, right? So when you look at that, scheme and context always matters, in my opinion, when it comes to that. You know, Sean Taylor was also another great safety during that era who had, you know, musical chairs when it came to defensive coordinators, but he left the planet early, unfortunately. So rest in peace to Sean Taylor. But you guys get the point when it comes to that. But when you look up at Caleb Downs is one that I think is an intriguing pick. It's two guys that are in the top 10 that I think can address the nickel flex position if we were to trade up and get him. Well, three that affect it. Mansour Delane affects it because him being on the outside changes what you're going to do with Bland. I don't care what you say. Now, if you say Bland is your number one outside corner, he ain't your number one outside corner when Mansour Delane out there. I don't care what you're talking about. So if you go and get Mansour Delane, or if they did, for whatever dumb reason, get McCoy. I don't want McCoy because of his injuries. And again, when I say dumb, I don't mean McCoy's a bad player, so don't start the bullshit. I mean, I don't want to test it going into a season that is a first season for our coach that we are building around Christian Parker and give him a guy that is a high quality pick that he can't use. Because when he fails, or if he fails, we're going to blame him regardless of what he can and can't use. We did this to Eberflus last year. Eberflus came in here thinking he was going to get all-pro Trayvon Diggs, all-pro Bland, and all-pro Micah Parsons. What did he get? None of that. And we said, you trash. Now, is he? Is he his worst games? No. Is he his best? No. But he's not what he was last year. I think he's still a good coach. I really do. I think he got a bad deal because of what happened politically with this team. You know, it's a lot. I look at Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn was getting over on us, man. Dan Quinn had Micah Parsons chasing everybody all over the place, so he got a lot of the credit for pass rush and pressures, and you know he was getting so many scores. Him and Al Harris. So Micah Parsons chase, you guys take, and then him and Al Harris combined were making it so that we were leading the league in turnovers and pressures. So people, and that was a lot of smoke and mirrors. People start thinking that meant you were good defense, right? So Dan Quinn got over. but he had the tools to do it. He had an all-pro Diggs who was focused at the time. He had a Al Harris who could get those guys, getting interceptions, and he had, Bland, and you know what I mean. He had some tools. He had D-Law. He had some things to work with. Eberflus ain't had none of that, bro. Don't y'all get that? You know what I'm saying? We at one point we had D-Law, we had Fowler, we had Hankins, we had Osa, we had Micah Parsons, Chauncey Golston. You know what I'm saying? Dorrance Armstrong, Sam Williams, all on the same team. That's a hell of a room when you're talking about pass rush. It's a lot of them guys. You know what I'm saying? So did Eberflus have that? No. Flus, did he have that? No. But if I make an excuse for Flus, they're gonna say, well, AKOYE think Flus is good. I think Flus is a lot better than what he was last year, for sure, with some talent. He didn't have his talent. We had guys like Bridges playing corner for us. We had guys like Reddy Stewart. Who is Reddy Stewart? Nobody knew before last year, and nobody knew where he at now. Where the hell is he? I don't know. Right? But he had those type of guys last year. We had Sanborn, even though he brought him here. That's his fault. That was on him. You know what I mean? We had Kenneth Murray, who, I tried to figure out how we could use him. And I think Kenneth Murray, is he as worse or as bad as he seems? Maybe. Maybe not. I think that when we went to the 5-2 scheme, he had already done enough damage in the 4-3 where people just didn't like him by midseason. But when we went to 5-2 after Quentin Williams got here, he did improve and get better. But nobody gave him the credit because he had already missed so many opportunities early in the season. They just like, nah, we don't like you, right? Which was cool with me because of one thing. I will speak up for a player until, because they have to make good players make great plays and big moments. And he had a moment that I thought after the Raiders game when he forced the interception to Bell, Murray had an opportunity to do something major. And that was that game against the Chargers where we could have won that game. We probably would have still been headed into the playoffs. And he blitzed Herbert and missed. And Herbert ran for 40 yards. And I said, dun, 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 the funeral music. It was over for him after that. For me, I said, I can't say nothing for you no more, man. You killed yourself with that one. If you'd have blew him up on that play, I could have, I'd have said, hey, you redeemed yourself, but you got I bought you the time, and I keep the heat off you so you can go. I'm blocking for you so you can go have your moment, but you gotta rise to the occasion. That's anybody. Just like a coach. A coach might put you in position to hit your shots. You still got to sink the shot. He ain't there to shoot the shot for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's me. I'm gonna put you in position if I can. If I think that you got something, I'm gonna speak on it until you drop the ball, and that's on you, brother. That still get you benched. You know what I mean? But Downs, to your point with Downs and Brooks. Brooks is an all-pro, but like I said, Van Ginkel's another guy who was a journeyman guy who's an all-pro once he got with Marcus Dixon, right? But I think Brooks is an all-pro because of his scheme as well. Now, that doesn't mean he wouldn't be one here. I think he would because it's a similar scheme. But I don't think Brooks's ability itself is why he's all-pro only. I think it's the scheme. So I do think that we can create more or another all-pro elsewhere. Zach Bond's an example of that. Jonathan Grenard with Marcus Dixon is an example of that. This scheme has created a lot of all-pro linebackers, right? Whether it be through Fangio with Zach Bond, through when you look at, like I said, Van Ginkel with Marcus Dixon and Jonathan Grenard, right? So it's a lot of guys that suddenly get good. And I talked about Eric Wilson. I talked about Singleton, who left here. Singleton left Philly and went to Denver behind Marcus Dixon's line. I said this before, and had 163 tackles his first year and 177 his next, right? So that don't mean I don't want Brooks when I say that. See, they'll be like, he said we don't need Brooks. I'm saying I would love to have Brooks, but if we don't get Brooks, I think this scheme will create productivity out of the right young man that plays behind it. That's what I'm saying, in my clear words, so y'all don't got to misconstrue. He said 80 people in the building, show some love, hit that like button. You damn right, Reezy. He said, I don't think they trade up for Downs, maybe Bailey. Bailey, if you trade up for Bailey, I was talking about the guys that you would trade up for too, but if you traded up for Bailey, I would be a little upset. I don't think Bailey's the trade up guy. I don't. I think that what you get out of Bailey, and I don't want to disrespect Bailey, but what you get out of Bailey, I think I wouldn't be mad with his teammate. You know what I mean? If we went and got Height later on. I like Height. I think Height played the same thing, but I like Height too. I like Cassius Cassius Howe. You know what I mean? Those guys are like, to me, it's like if Bailey's better than them, he's slightly. It's not like he's not a freakish athlete that's so much more disruptive than those guys, is what I mean. Mesidor is another guy where you can do some things with a guy that moves like Mesidor is 280 pounds and 6'3". Like, that's a motherfucker right there. Now you got to stay healthy, but his hand fighting and all that, you can go get Mesidor later in the second round or later in the first, maybe even. And it would be, I would be just as happy. I wouldn't trade both my picks to jump up to grab Bailey. I would just grab Mesidor and something else I need at 12, like Downs if you were to fall. But if you're going to trade up, you go Downs, you go Delane to address the nickel and other things, or you go Sonny Styles if he's there, if they make it past 5. Reason I say Sonny Styles is because Sonny Styles is a guy that gives you, because of his safety background, he gives you the nickel flex that you're looking for. He played linebacker. He's not great at shedding blocks, but he does run the grass and run the space very well. And that's all he will have to do in his first couple years until he can get it together. And I think working with Dixon and BT Jordan, learning how to shed blocks and get those guys out of here, he'll get up to speed because he has the frame and the arm length to keep those guys off his body if he's smart. All you got to do is put the damn hand out. You know what I'm saying? He don't do that. He just runs right into contact, and he got to stop doing that because it'll be too easy to block him at this level. But he does have the tools that you can build around, right? Speaking of which, tools-wise, man, it's 2 African kids, and I ain't going to say their name because I don't remember them, and I don't want to murder them, but these dudes are on this international player program, man, and god damn. One of them is 6'4", 306. I think his name Bernard or something like that. But one of them 6'4", 306 with 6% body fat. Ran a 4.6. God damn. And he ain't fat at all. This boy just all muscle. I said, damn. Like, imagine the prison cell closing behind you, and that's who in there, man. It's like, damn, you better have a shank because you're going to die. It's over for you, bro. That dude, all muscle. It's over. I don't care how hard you hit. He eat those. You know what I'm saying? Then the other one is about Sonny Styles' size and did everything Sonny Styles did. He's 6'4", 244, ran a 4.41, jumped 41 inches vertical. Both of them did 39 and 41. Crazy. And then had 11-foot broad jump. These dudes are sick athletes, man. So whatever teams they get on in the international program in 2-3 years, they're gonna be something. That's wild. But anyway, Sonny Styles is a guy that, because of his athleticism, you can do a lot of things with. So you jump up for him because you can build him into solving a lot of the problems in different ways when it comes to nickel, middle line. He solves middle linebacker, nickel, and he can give you some pass rush. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot right there. When you look at Downs is another guy. I compare him to Brian Branch. Brian Branch is safety for Lions. Great player. He can see he gives us problems. He can play that nickel corner, a big nickel. He can also play deep. He has range. He's good in run support. He can do everything well. That is really who I compare Caleb Downs to. So if you're going to jump up to get a guy like that that's going to get you 80 to 100 tackles from everywhere every year, I'm all for that. I'm with it. Hold on. Needed some agua. And then the other that I would jump up for, obviously you say Reese, but Reese not gonna slide. But Bane. If Bane makes it past 4 or 5, you trade up and you go get him too, because he's disruptive today, and disruptive. You could play him outside, opposite Gary. You could play him and Gary if you want to spell one of those guys at 4I. You could play him and Gary at 4I as well, as long as we're Sam Williams too. Those guys have inside and outside flex. So I think Bane is a guy that's disruptive right now. You go get him too. Right now, what they talk about his arm length. I'm glad they talking about his arm length because I ain't. Because I look at arm again. Context matters. Arm length matters if you're trying to use your long arm or you got the wrong rushes where you don't know what to do with your hands and you letting guys get into your frame. But when you watch Bane, one thing that's for certain is he knows that his arms aren't long, but he uses it to his advantage because instead of making big, broad moves with his hands, Bane is very tight with his movements with his hand, and he's making moves on top of moves. Like it looked like a Steven Seagal movie back in the day for those of you who in the 40s who remember Steven Seagal used to be moving his hands all crazy. You ain't know what the fuck is coming at you. You know what I mean? Marked for Death and Hard to Kill in the movies, man. Steven Seagal hand placement was crazy. Bane looked like that. Him and Mesidor got great hand fighting capability. So I think he understands that he doesn't have the longest arms, but he uses that to his advantage, and he makes you pay for trying to punch him. And he times guards and tackles punches very well too. So a guy that could do a little bit of that. I don't think that his arm length is as much of a problem. But again, I'm glad that people talking on it because that might make him slide somewhere where we can jump up and get him. But those are the only guys that you jump up and get that change this defense like a freak right now. If you don't get those guys, stop, trade out of the first round and go into the second and third round. The reason I say that is a lot of the talent, like think about it. If you went first round, Kyle Lewis, you'd be like, nah, that was too high. If you went first round, Kenneth Perkins. I mean, not Harold Perkins. You'd be like, nah, why the hell you do that? You know what I'm saying? If you went first round, Jacob Rodriguez, you'd be like, I don't think he was worth the 20th pick. If you went first round, CJ Allen, I don't think he was there first. I don't think he's a first round talent, but okay, somebody might do it. You know what I mean? But all those guys, if you were to load up your picks, get rid of those first rounds because you don't see what you want after 5, you get rid of those picks and you jump into the second, but you jumping into the second with 2 or 3, you jumping again into the third, and you got, let's say, 4 to 5 or 4 to 6 picks between round 2 and round 3, or round 2 and round 4, the beginning of round 4. If you can get there and you can land yourself a Rodriguez or a CJ Allen and a Kyle Lewis and or Perkins and you got, let's say you ended this draft and you had Perkins, J Rod or Jacob Rodriguez, Perkins. You got you a guy like Deontay Pons, the little dude from I think Indiana that plays nickel. You come out with that, or Keontae Scott in the second round. Those guys. Even I don't like them, but Avion Terrell or whatever. You get those guys. You got like 6 of those guys that you got in the second and third round. That's a better draft than just grabbing the two guys in the first round, skipping the second round altogether, jumping into the third and grabbing something else. You come out with 3 good players that way, or maybe. But when you go the other way, you get about 6 of them. You get what I'm saying? And it's harder to miss that way because you could double up. You could say, all right, we're going to address the nickel in a couple ways. So we could say, okay, we're going to go at a Keontae Scott. Like I said, you can go after Pons, Terrell. Terrell can play in the slot, and so can Scott. But Scott will do it like Devin Weatherspoon, whereas Terrell is more of a twitchy, J-Lou type of guy, like very, very hungry ball hawk, can cover very well. Covers better than Keontae, but ain't the hitter that Keontae is, but he is a ball hawk, right? Whereas Keontae will smack you and will play more like Weatherspoon, but his coverage is not as great, but he can give you good coverage from there. So you got options when you look at it that way. And then linebacker-wise, you can get 2 or 3 of them. You can go get a Josiah Trotter and just say, all right, fuck it, we want him and we're going to go get J-Rod. Or we can get a J-Rod and a Hill Jr. in the second round. You come out with 2 of those guys because you went back. I don't think anybody's mad at that. I think the fans would be mad if we did it initially when we make the trade. But when you come out of the draft, I don't think half of them will be half as mad as you think, because a lot of the people that we think are talented, we want to jump up and throw them in 20 because that's the pick that we're picking at. And we know if we don't get them at 20, we ain't going to get them in the second round because we ain't there. We're going to have to wait to 92, and that's a long wait. It's a lot of players coming off that board. You know what I'm saying? So I think jumping back into the second and third with those picks is smart if you don't see what you want. If you don't get one of those generational game-changing players in that top 5, 6, leave the first round. That's what I think. Now, I ain't on the war board. I'm not a scout. I could be wrong. I doubt I'm wrong because I would rather have – there's a lot of talent in this draft, but it's always – most of it is in day 2, day 3. And even Vach and those guys at Crown Global only had about 15 to 17 first-round grades. That's offense or defense in the first round in this entire draft. So that means everybody else is a day 2 prospect unless there's a need that forces a team to do what we're talking about doing. You're going to get so thirsty at a position if at 20 because you're not picking again in 92. You might grab something that you should have grabbed in 30, 35. Right? But if you got two 30s and a couple 40s, you ain't going to do it. You know what I mean? You'll leave that alone. You know what I mean? So that's just my philosophy. That's what I would do. If I don't see one of those generational talents there, I'm jumping. But let me get into y'all chats and then we'll keep going. My pops passed in 2008 from cancer. He was diagnosed while I was in high school, fought for a decade. Rest in peace, General Reezy. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, OJ. Let's see. Andy, a piece of unsolicited advice. Don't forget to take your breaks while taking care of moms. Often caretakers forget to rest too. Hey, Angie, you definitely do that. If you a caretaker, man, for sure. If you caretaker for moms and so on, man, I do that as well. Not for my mom. Thank God she's not ill yet. No, I don't mean yet. Sorry for saying that, mom. I mean she's not ill, meaning she's not old, and I don't have to deal with that yet. But are older, and she hasn't started to succumb to any sicknesses yet. So you know, hopefully that doesn't come. Hopefully she stays healthy until she drop one day late. We all got to do that at some point. But um, I do that for others though, in houses right now. So that's what I do all day. And yes, it is very stressful. So definitely make sure you get yourself some rest and you chill and do what you're supposed to do for yourself too. Because if you can't help you, you can't help nobody. Always remember that. If I can't swim, all y'all gonna drown. You know what I mean? That's the way it goes. So definitely do that. And like I said, I appreciate you sharing that on here too. All right, let's see what we're doing. Yeah, you need to join up TM Marquis. I mean, all right, let's see. Y'all going in about that all? Y'all talking to each other. I don't think Dallas trading up, but I do think they trade down for extra pick 2 or 3 in the second round. Yep, I agree with you. 864 Mayfield. Did you change your name? I think you was somebody else before. You had a different picture before, right? I think. Yeah, I might be wrong. There's another 864 around here somewhere. But he had a cowboy hat on. Boom, boom, boom. Let's keep going. He said, "Give up a cup of coffee, people." That's for sure, man. Buy AKOYE a cup of coffee once a month. You good. You know what I mean? That's all it costs to watch these lives. And y'all know I've been on it all month. I don't even know how many I did this month, but we turning this into a podcast. Shout out to Chris Kreshman. But that's one of the guys that work with me behind the scenes. But he asked me to change the format so that I can get him editing a little bit better. So that's what we're doing, man. But yeah, we definitely turning this into a podcast as well, so that my brother Jermaine is actually a truck driver. He very rarely gets to watch this because he's driving trucks right now, right? Or he's sleeping probably right now, but he drive trucks, all week. So he said, "Yo, man, if you get in the podcast space, I'll just listen. I like to listen to the joint, but you got to be a podcast. You got to be on Spotify, somewhere like that. So we're going to do all that, man. We're doing it all." All right, let's see. He said, "That's dope as fuck." Let's see. Take your shoes off at the door. Exactly. Hit that like button. That's all you got to do as soon as you come in the door, man. Germ with the plug. Germ is the plug for sure. She said, AKOYE the only person I like from Philly. You know what's crazy, Angie? I'm probably the only person I like from Philly. Like, no, I got some Philly folks that I fuck with, right? But I can't even lie. These people here crazy, man. The culture is crazy, so I can't even lie. But the crazy thing is I'm not even from Philly. I was born in Texas, right? But I was raised here. My family not from Philly. They from North Carolina, right? North Carolina, Rocky Mount, in South Carolina, my dad, right? So I got like Southern hospitality in Philly, which is why I act a little different. I got the Philly. I know how to survive in Philly, so that's where you get all of the feistiness and the arguing from. Like that's where the hood ninja come out. But the nerd in me and the chill guy that's calm and gracious, that's not Philly. That's more so my family. And people know when we hear and we even when I talk, people like, where your family from? I'm like, they could tell I'm from Philly somewhere, but I was raised here, but they hear a certain twang and something I say, and they be like, or a certain term I use, and they be like, who the fuck say that shit? So I get that. I've been getting that my whole life, but that's probably why I'm the only person you like from Philly, because I ain't from Philly. You know what I mean? But I was raised here. I've been here since I was 5, so I'm 43. So Philly all through me. But yeah, that's probably why. Texas, my folks been here since before slavery. We're in every corner of the state. Oh, you in Texas, Reezy? I thought you was up here, bro. Yeah, I thought you was up here. I thought you was up here. You ain't. That's different. But yeah, they had a whole team of Reezys up here. Not Reez, but Easy. Everybody's skeezy, easy, sleazy. All like it's like I used to call them the Seven Dwarfs and shit. It was a bunch of them, man. But they used to be on my ass. AKOYE and Skywalker. Skywalker from Harrisburg. I don't think he's from Philly, but he an East Coast boy though for sure. He understand all our slang, but I think he from where Micah Parsons from. They not Philly boys. They Harris. That's like 2 hours out. They from Harrisburg. But yeah, I fuck with Scott too though. I don't think he's from Philly though. At Reezy, folks ain't ready for them conversations. No, they not ready for real conversations at all. Let's see. AKOYE agree. Angie the homie. Yeah, Angie is the homie. Angie always here. Drell, what you mean, brother? Oh man, y'all going having private conversation. I don't want to read those. My bad. Y'all having like y'all really. I like how y'all doing in the chat though. Shout out to the AKs in the chat, man. Y'all really do treat this like a family. I gotta keep doing this so y'all can get together more. You know what I mean? Because y'all be having like some real Y'all should trade numbers and all that the way y'all be talking. He said, Drell, in fact, some folks on my maternal grandmother's side out of home in Louisiana prior to coming to Texas, indigenous all day, brother. And the fact that you even know about all that, like I was just teaching my daughter that because my daughter's 7. She don't know it. We don't really teach the race thing because I think that racism is a trap. It's a game, right? But so we don't really teach the race thing. And I don't mean we don't teach you that you are what you are, but the idea that you can't do things because of race, we don't, because I do what I want to do. Like everything I've ever done is not shit I'm supposed to be doing. So I don't think nobody can stop me from shit. And in fact, I don't even play that in my mind because if I did, I probably would limit myself. So I don't limit. I wouldn't do this. People told, as a matter of fact, a white dude told me when I was getting my iPad fixed to do this the first time ever. He said, "Oh man, you like 10 years too late for YouTube." That was 2 weeks before the Des Bryant video came out. I said, "Well, damn, if I'd have listened to Buddy, I wouldn't be doing this." You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I mean. I don't limit myself. That's why I say that. But we in the car today, and she like, "Yeah, if it wasn't for Martin Luther King, you and mommy couldn't have made me." I said, "What?" I said, "What you think your mom is?" Because her mom is light skinned, like super light skinned, light, bright, right, super light, yellow bone jaw. So she said, she's like the teacher, like my teacher. I said, "You think your mom white?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Your mom not white, babe. Your mom, both her parents is black. They just light skinned." She didn't understand what that means. She think people are crayons. So she's like, if we're dark or she's like, I'm medium, I'm caramel, you dark, mommy white. I'm like, no, your mom is light, but she's not white. So I had to tell her like, your mom whole family is Muskogee Indians and Geechees. You know what I mean? From South Carolina, all that. They like Geechee girls and shit like that. And then mine is all Siksika or Blackfoot Indian from down south. Like I'm serious. So I've tried to tell her that, and she's sitting there looking at me like like she loading. So it's funny that you brought that up, the indigenous stuff, man. That's funny. Corey, I know you talking about Diggs going ruffle some feathers. Talking about Diggs going ruffle some feathers in what way? Like Diggs is to me, Diggs, Micah Parsons. Who else can I name? But right now it's Diggs and Micah Parsons. I'll say this straight to you. I think Diggs is one of the most talented corners that ever played for the Cowboys. I think Micah Parsons is one of the most talented players that ever played in the league. But both of them, and I really do mean this, are big disappointments character-wise to me. Both of them. I don't like neither one of them as far as their character. Y'all notice I didn't complain when Micah Parsons left. Everybody else did. I didn't complain. Why do you think I didn't complain when I'm the one that was beating the drum for Micah Parsons since he walked in the door? And don't get it twisted, because a lot of people forget they got revisionist history. I was arguing with Vach and all those guys when I was saying his rookie year. I said Micah Parsons is a better pass rusher than D-Law. And nobody knew he was going to be. I thought he would be because of his college tape. I said he a better pass rusher than D-Law. That we was going at it on a round table over that. But what did he become? One of the best pass rushers in the game, according to him, right? But Micah Parsons, to me, is one of the laziest players that ever played the game when it comes to film. And now y'all gonna say his effort on the field is crazy. It is when he's on the field, yes. But his effort in understanding the game everywhere else is not, right? He's a player that could do anything he wanted to do if he wanted to do it. He's one of those guys that can get an A without studying. And he does get A's in something without studying. Like he get an A in, he don't study no grade, no class. Let's say you got science, English, and math. He gets A's in math and don't study. But he don't study at science and English either, and he gets C's at those. That's Micah Parsons. That's what he does. So Micah Parsons, if he studied the game, he can play middle linebacker at a high clip, erase everything on first and second down, sideline to sideline, erase things coming behind him, doing the things Fred Warner could do. You know what I mean? Get everybody lined up. He can play safety if you wanted. If you wanted to add an extra linebacker to the field and bring him in as a safety guy that plays in the box, erases the nickel and plays deep and can line up and mug the line of scrimmage, but run deep like he did with Gallup. He could do anything he wants on a football field. But why isn't he doing everything on a football field? Because he doesn't want to. He wanted the money and he wanted to play defensive end because it's the only position where all he has to do is line up and be an athlete. That's the only position he could do that in. Can't do that as a corner. You can't do that as a linebacker. Can't do that as a safety. You can't do that doing the other things that he's capable of. But if you know you're capable of those things, the reason Troy Polamalu was what he was is because he learned every position. He knew what everybody was doing. You know what I mean? The reason Darren Woodson was who he was, he learned what everybody was doing. The reason Ray Lewis was who he was is not because he was the greatest athlete. He wasn't. Ray Lewis was this. Luke Kuechly was this. Ray Lewis would get to the line. Peyton Manning to call a audible. Ray Lewis will look at what they're doing. He'll call an audible. Peyton Manning to see what he called. Peyton Manning call an audible. Then Ray Lewis like, oh, fuck that. We call. And they was audibling at the line of scrimmage. That is like master class football. Micah Parsons is not in that conversation. He's not because he doesn't want to be. That's a disappointment to me. To me. Now, I still say, he's the best player in the league, talent-wise, but not a defense. He's not the best defensive end in the league. He's not. He's not even when he was healthy. He's not. Myles Garrett was better. You could argue T.J. Watt was better. You could say Max Crosby was better. Get what I'm saying? These guys, not because of pressures. If you just counting pressures and that's what you're doing, then you're limiting yourself, Micah. You know what I mean? It's not about that. It's like, what effect can you have on a team as a defensive end? We already seen that you can have zero or a great one. It depends on who you're playing. But what effect could you have if teams don't know how you're being used and then you're lining up in the A gap? I had this argument so many times I don't want to do it anymore. But that's how I feel about them. But when you talk about Diggs being ruffling some feathers, come on, bro. Most of the news on Diggs last year came from things happening off the field. Both him talking about Micah Parsons' deal, because they must have been like bosom buddies or something like that. Crazy to me. Like, shut up and play ball. Do what you got to do, bro. When I say shut up and play ball, it's not like a dismissive term like the lady who told LeBron, shut up and play ball, or shut up and dribble. I mean, focus on your craft, brother. Focus on your craft. You unfocused. And this is coming from a guy who I met Diggs' grandmother. Her name is Dionysus. She's an ex-FBI agent, cool lady. Met her at Longhorns. We talked for like 2-3 hours. She that cool. She invited me to her and his grandfather's birthday party last May. They both born in May. Both, I think, one of them born in May. I think the grandpa. But anyway, he invited me to the party. I ain't show up, but I was just like, damn, that's how cool he was, right? Got her number and all that. But she, we talking to her, talking about her grandsons, both of them, Stefan and him. It's like, she even said they not focused. I'm like, hey, that's your grandmother. You know what I mean? I should have said that, grandma, my bad. Don't talk about, don't quote me on this part because I probably shouldn't have said that because she probably didn't tell me that to say that. But at the end of the day, that is a true story. I don't need to lie about nothing, right? Now, when you look at Diggs, though, a lot of the stuff that was going on, I'm not going to even talk about the soap opera shit because I'm not a he said, she said guy. But I've heard a lot of stories from people in the organization about the things that he was doing in regards to how he really got hurt. He was hurt from things that happened that he could have avoided, that came from being unfocused off the field. Okay. He got let go because of things, because he wanted to go to a concert. Off the field shit again. You know what I'm saying? When he came in to play with Eberflus, he's going back and forth with his coach. Okay. Eberflus is a dick, but okay. But then you come in and you play in Chicago, that one hand jam, you get burnt. You just get burnt. You're getting your toast cooked because you ain't studying your craft and you're probably not as healthy as you could be because you didn't work out with the team. That's an unfocused talent. And that's a guy who started smelling himself, in my opinion. So is he a great talent at corner? Hell yeah. But would I want him back? Or do I think that he was done dirty when he left? Hell no. I was glad he was gone. Not gonna lie. Both of them. Glad both of them gone. Not lying. And Micah Parsons, being a defensive end, coming back with that type of injury, watching the ways that I watched players go at his legs and his knees while he was on turf here, I would watch players go at his knees. I'll give you an example because, I said I was going to jump into some film. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about when it comes to him. And this is just for a segment, with Micah. You know what I'm saying? I just want to show this real quick because this is what's crazy to me. I'm like, these things ain't going to be fun when you coming back here. You know what I mean? Let me see. Where's the video? Maybe I took it down. That's all I got on Micah. Gotta have more than that. Man, boy. That's it right there. Damn, that was March 22nd, 2022. All right. Let me put this on real quick. Mute that. All right, I'm going to share this for y'all, and then we'll get into some more. But watch this, Angie. Now, this is why I say this. I said it's going to be a problem for him when he come back. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me share the screen real quick first so you can see what I'm talking about. Boom. All right, let me get back in here. Make sure y'all can see what it is. All right, cool. Blow him up. Boom. Make sure y'all can see. All right, cool. I'm going to press play on this. I want to show y'all something. Number one, this is what I was talking about.
You want a coach that's gonna really pressure you
Just
to.
mute real quick. I want to talk about impact on a football team or on a field. A guy that can play like he was playing in his rookie year. To me, this was the best of Micah Parsons, and I don't think we'll ever see it again. Not from him. You know, we might see this from some of these young guys who saw the blueprint, and some of these coaches who saw this blueprint who agree with me. But a guy who can do this from everywhere, you know, can affect the game from everywhere, is one of the best players. This is one of the best examples of football that I've seen in a long time. You know what I mean? And I was very excited. Right? You see him now; he's lined up outside, sort of like an outside linebacker. Boom, slashing in there, making plays, but they're keeping him clean and they were moving him around, hiding him. Right? Again, outside linebacker. You know what I mean? And I'm showing this because I want to show you what he's going to have to deal with, like that. You see that? This is what he's going to be dealing with now in Green Bay on the frozen tundra with cleats on a bad knee. Guys diving at your legs, you know what I mean? Diving at your knees while you're recovering from an ACL injury. It's a lot different than when you're playing in space off ball where you don't have to bench press guys every play or deal with guys chipping you or cut blocking you and all those things, right? So him being a defensive end only is a problem for him. I do believe. Now, it's not hate that I'm saying that from. It's really just the understanding of how hard it is just to come back from that type of injury anyway. Ask Sam Williams. Sam Williams couldn't use his left leg last year, and you guys were kind of giving him hell for it. You know what I mean? Now Mike is going to have that same, learning curve, and I hope that he is the Superman that we all have grown to know. But him playing this way would have been a lot easier for him coming back from an injury like that. You know what I mean? Meaning off ball more, in space more, obviously blitzing and doing certain things. But the things you see on film right now, think about this is what I meant. Like everybody thought that I was just making things up when I was talking about all the things he can do to affect the team better from middle than outside. He still had sacks in this game, I believe, or he had pressures at least. But look at the game that he affected. Look at how he affected the game from where he was, right? He's erasing first and second down, and affecting the ball from almost everywhere in this game or in the beginning of his career. You know what I mean? That was what Micah Parsons was meant to be. But because he was such a great athlete and, in my opinion, lazy, he didn't want to do these things because he would have had to learn how to play all of these spots in these positions. He did not do that. So that's why I don't have a problem with him being gone. When I say that, Trayvon Diggs, same thing. I don't have a problem with him being gone because instead of learning his position to a point where he understood how teams wanted to attack him, he would use, his athleticism in the beginning to bait quarterbacks and throwing the ball at him. And it was a gift and a curse at first. He would give up yards or he would get you interceptions. And then at the end, when he got a little slower, when he wasn't as focused and wasn't as healthy, those baits turned into big plays, and it became a liability when you're a team that's trying to win with your first year coach. They don't have time to trust you and for you to figure it out. This is Micah affecting the slot as a nickel flex guy, right? So this is what I mean. He could do all of those things. That's Jerry Judy. You know what I mean? Like you're chasing wide receivers down flat. They can't even turn the corner on you. And you started off in the box. You know what I mean? These are the things that you see Sonny Styles or you see Aaron Carter, you see Arvell Reese, and they want them to be everything that he was in this film. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. You see what I'm saying? Like having a guy that can affect your game from all these different positions, it's a nightmare for an offensive coordinator because just because you see him in the huddle don't mean you know where he's lining up and you don't know what he's doing. You do now. He's rushing. You see him on the field, he's like for the Packers, they paid $50 million for a situational pass rusher. That basically that's like Houston. And I'm not saying Houston's as good as Micah Parsons, but I'm saying if he's just pass rushing, why are you paying him $50 million? Now, this is that same season. Do you see him getting sacks? Of course. but he's also doing other things from everywhere else. You know what I mean? Now he lined up outside here, boom. Okay, he's gonna get himself a hustle sack there, good move, and then he's gonna chase this down, get himself a sack on Bridgewater. Bridgewater should have threw that away. What the hell was you thinking, dumbass? But either way, he got himself a sack there, nonetheless. So having a guy that could do that, but then line up here in the middle in the A gap, and now they're gonna pinch this line. You see that? Boom. Now he's on a running back who can't fathom how fast he's moving. And look at that. You get himself another sack. You know what I'm saying? So this is a kid that could have did it all from anywhere and should have. The fact that he fought that, I don't know if it was his agent. I don't know if it was, I don't know if it was his, I don't know who it was, but the fact that you fought doing this means that you don't seek to be great. And I do mean that. I don't think that Micah Parsons wanted to be great. And it's crazy. This is why I said I don't read the comments, because I had no intentions of talking about Micah Parsons at all in this video. But here we are doing it because, you guys brought it up. But just watch how disruptive he was, during this stretch of his career. And I don't think we'll ever see this from him again. Maybe somebody else comes along and can duplicate it. But you see all the places he's lining up and see how effective he was from everywhere. Boom. Look at this move. As soon as he puts his foot in the ground, it is over. And it is. Boom. Now, you're going to do that on a bad knee on grass? I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? So he just limited his game quite a bit because he's been so far removed from the linebacker position. He can't go back to linebacker now because he doesn't understand how to play linebacker at an NFL level because he hasn't been in those rooms. I do know that being in that defensive end room, he would get bored. Why? Because there's nothing for him to do other than rush, and because of his talent, people would allow him to do whatever he wanted to do. But you can see him tackling for loss, doing all kinds of things. Chasing, remember this game, he chased Mahomes all over the place and was killing Mahomes too. So this was the Micah Parsons that I would have paid $50 million to. I would have paid him easy. If I had the money, I'm like, give it to him. You know what I mean? That Micah Parsons makes everybody on the field better because he's a demon from everywhere, right? He on demon time. Whereas the one that they got for the Packers, they got a pass rusher. You know what I mean? They got a pass rusher. He even made Diggs better because when he's chasing those quarterbacks, Diggs can kind of read how fast you're going to get up on that guy. He can sit on everything. Ask Valentine over there for the Packers last year. Valentine looked like Diggs, number 24. He was jumping everything. He didn't pick off a lot of passes because he wasn't catching them. But I was watching the film of Micah Parsons for the Packers, and I saw that he was making Valentine look great because, a lot of the pressures he was getting was making it so Valentine could sit on routes. So those things are true. Like when Diggs intercepted Hurts for that pick six, or had all those pick sixes too, Bland as well. Those guys get better because of things like this, So with that said, that was my point, Angie. These guys disappointed me something crazy. I want you to watch the rest of this one because I think in this game, even you kind of see some of the things that he's going to struggle with when he comes back because the way teams attack him, you know what I mean? Like this, but when you see all those trap blocks that they were coming across the line of scrimmage with, he was dealing with some of them, but you're going to see that as he gets tired, there it is again. Somebody else dove at his knee just now. You know what I mean? But I saw that in his first couple years, it was a lot of that, a lot of it. Teams were just going at his legs. Here, you see here, he dips, boom, and watch this, blow him up. That's what was happening. That's what happens when he's outside primarily. Teams saw this his first year, and they said, "Oh, there's a way to attack Micah Parsons if he lines up outside." You couldn't do that. You can't show me film of this happening to him with him in the A gap or happening to him with him off ball. But from the slot, from the edge, definitely it happened to him a lot. They go LVE on the ground giving up touchdowns. Watch this, look, LVE gone. I miss LVE, man. He was something to laugh at, man. Now, when I talk about low lights for a player, LVE got so many low lights, I don't have to try to find them. They just was out there. And I know, like I said, I pick with players, but he was one that was like a super easy target to pick with, man. Super easy. But you get my point now, Angie. I know I went very long-winded with that one, but I thought it was necessary. AKOYE, do you think Bland is a shutdown corner? Okay, let me not be messy. You know damn well when you ask that question, Angie, the answer is no. He is not. He's not a shutdown. He never was a shutdown corner. Let me say this to these people because I know I got two. Sadiqa, number one, you keep gifting me the memberships. Thank you, Sadiqa. I owe you a cup of coffee, matter of fact. And Ex Pronzo by Slayer, I think that's what you said. Ex Pro Zombie Slayer. Look how I read that all at once, like a dummy. Ex-pro zombie slayer. Damn, I fucked that up. Something bad. I feel bad. That's that dyslexia. But thank you for becoming a member anyway. That was a bad joint. I gotta get some glasses or something. All right, here we go. He said, let me see. You said Diggs, where was that at? She said, do I think I want to know where I was at first? All right, he said, do you think Bland's a shutdown corner? No. No, he's not at all. He's an opportunistic corner. He was a corner that could do some things if you get pressures. Um, I think he's injured still. I mean, I don't think he's injured now, but he was injured last year. And I think that also you can see that they weren't well schooled from any standpoint. So I don't know what Bland is. It's like this, you know what I mean? I don't know what he is, you know what I mean? Because is he the guy that showed up for Eberflus, or is he the guy that got us, five or six pick sixes? He's somewhere in between. Um, can he be a guy that can contribute very well at a high level, though? Yes. Does he need to be a shutdown corner? Is the question you should be asking yourself, though. No, I don't need him to be a shutdown corner. Ain't that how many of those guys are in the league? Did Seattle have a shutdown corner? Who is he? Who Woolen? Who is he? Who was it? You know what I mean? So it's not that many of those in the league anyway. So no, he's not. But does he need to be? He doesn't. That's the point. Why, man? When did critical analysis become a negative thing? Never seen AKOYE be disrespectful on a breakdown. The man actually helping these cats if they pay attention. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what context you were saying that. Who were you saying it to? Let me see. Maybe I can read up and see what you was talking about. Well, or maybe you was just responding to what I said, Reed. But I don't remember what the context was in regards to that. But no, I'm not disrespectful when analyzing the player. I am if you consistently bad and I hear coaches lying about it. Like the only time I kind of got on players, like I owe Shamar James an apology too. I think Shamar James is a young player who was playing like his draft pick. He's a fifth round player playing like it, right? The problem I had is the coaches kept parading him out there saying great things about him. I'm like, what is he doing that's great? And the problem I had with that was if you establish a baseline and say that you're built, and this is what I problem I had with Shotty and Eberflus. But I think Shotty was trying to cover for Eberflus with these statements because Shotty would come out and say it's about consistency and it's about who does it right. I say, well, why y'all keep lording over a guy who's doing it wrong then and saying that? Because y'all tell me that when it comes to Mozzie, he need to be consistent in practice or he can't get on the field. But you can't tell me Shamar James looked good somewhere. He even looked good in practice because there's no pads, nobody hitting. He couldn't change directions to save his life last year in space. He looked bad. You know what I mean? Couldn't shed blocks either. Looked bad. And looked like he was stuck. When he would bounce and he would not really cut and get to the spot. So I didn't understand it. But then they would say Morris Leofile, needs to show some more composure and be more consistent. That's why he's not getting on the field. I said, what? But you putting this guy on the field. Like if you're saying that Morris is not that great in space and he's not twitchy, I can hear you. But you better have a guy that is out there if you're saying that. You can't pull this guy out and say, and watch him giving up big plays, him and Kenneth Murray, and say, well, let's just try Morris there. Let's try and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? They ain't even do that. So that's what that was my issue with the things that they were saying out their mouth. It's like, y'all not even letting these guys try to let them lose and fall on their sword before you tell me what they can do. Don't let them lose on the practice field. You know what I'm saying? And then have a guy like, they had a guy like Parsons who wasn't even practicing half the time. You know what I'm saying? Or Diggs here, who got on the field a couple times and wasn't really trying either. So it was like, yeah, they lost some credibility, even Schottenheimer for that. But I did think that Schottenheimer was covering for Eberflus when he was doing that rather than actually believing the things that he was saying. I think Shotty a liar a little bit. He just don't want to tell you everything that he's thinking, which I get. Parcells wouldn't do that either. I'm excited for this trade up hype. Just want to see who was highest on their board. Yeah, the guys that they looking at, right? I think Caleb Downs, obviously Reese, and they wanted to look at all those guys that's up there. Looked at Bain, they wanted to look at Reese, they wanted to look at obviously the Monster Delane and Downs and also Styles. Because if you're going to trade up and grab one of those guys, and you want to get a good look at what they are. And I think the reason the Cowboys said, "Hey, let's look at us," they shouldn't have showed the video though. I'm like, why y'all let BT show that video of Sonny Styles learning how to pass rush? Because I wouldn't even bring up the idea that he's a pass rusher to anybody. I wouldn't put it in any defensive coordinator's head because if you're looking at Reese as a higher prospect than Sonny Styles, don't make sense. Reese can't do the things that Styles can do in space. But Styles can do the things that Reese can do at the line if you teach him. They got the same frame. You know what I mean? They both long 6'4" guys that can run like a deer. They both run a 4.6 and they both got moves. Styles just need to get stronger at the point of attack. He's not as strong as Reese, but he can learn to pass rush. So if Styles could pass rush, he would be night and day better than if he could shed blocks and pass rush. Reese wouldn't be the number 1 overall player in the draft. It would be Styles. But why would you tell somebody that? I think that was dumb for the Cowboys. Just like you showing Caleb Downs. Why are you showing this? BT, you work for us now, man. All right, stop putting that footage out. Put it out after the fucking draft. You know what I mean? What are you doing? But other than that, I like what I see. You know what I'm saying? It was a joke, Kwali. I know you joking. Reezy, that's what's up. Both maternal and paternal side come from Oklahoma. Choctaws, then migrated to California. I'm glad y'all hip to y'all lineage, man, and y'all understand what the Trail of Tears really was. I'm glad y'all starting to understand. Y'all starting to wake up out there, and I ain't got to tell nobody. That's crazy. That's love, because I thought I was the only one. You know what I'm saying? Remember Boys in the Hood? He said, I don't want to say booty scratcher because I don't think Africans are that. But he said, I ain't no African. I'm from Crenshaw Mafia. He was basically saying, I'm from here. You know what I mean? We from here. We from here. Just like pass rush helps corners, ball comes out faster, inaccurate, and DB gets a better chance to pick off deflections. It's all hand to hand. Yeah, and when you play press coverage and you play too high safety, you get your rush there because now those guys have an opportunity to. Let me show you some Eric. I'm gonna show you something. Like those who weren't on here for Eric Wilson's film, watch this real quick. Do I have that? Let's see. Video file. Eric. Oh, y'all know I got a new name too. I think the young boy AOC called me Akuchi. So Akuchi Media too. I mean, I think that's one of my names. I got that in here. So I said that's why I brought it up. Let me see. Eric. Linebackers run free. Tweet solid. Boom. Here we go. Watch this. I think I got. I'm not gonna watch this whole thing. I just want y'all to see something in coverage. Watch these plays because I'll put a couple of these plays out here just to show what happens immediately post snap right here. Watch this. You see that? Let's pause it right there. Let me blow this up. You can see it. Now, just like what you were saying when you talk about corners being helped by the fact that your pass rush gets off fast. Well, your pass rush don't got to be as fast when your corner is bottom time. Like you see Van Ginkel is pressing the tight end right now, right? Which allows your safeties and everybody to get into their zones and not have to react so fast because that guy's not running right through your zone as soon as the ball snaps. And you see at the bottom of the screen, Isaiah Rodgers is also pressing, which is buying, even if they were playing cover 2, which they're not, but it buys that safety, Harrison Smith, over the top time to give over the top of that if he needed to. But right now, Darnold has the ball in his hand and is trying to figure out what he needs to do with the ball, right? And the pass rush is up on him. And he's post-snap having to figure this out now, right? So, yes, you're right. When you cover well, it makes it so that that quarterback has to hold the ball and get through progressions. You see him right here? He was looking for something, but there's nothing there. So watch his eyes right here. Boom. Now look. Boom. Change progressions again. He changed progressions 3 times. And by the time he finishes that, the rush finally get to him, force a fumble. Boom. Why? Because look out there. It was nowhere to go with the ball, right? So the better you cover, the better you rush. And that wasn't just a one-off thing. That happened a bunch of times, you know. I'm going to show you again. I'm going to show you another one, I think, against Golf. Let me see. Later against Golf. Against Golf. Where's Golf? Here we go. Here's Golf. There he is, right there. Watch this. Okay, watch this from boom. So right there, you had double A gap pressure. He has the ball in his hands, right? Look at the bottom of the screen. You're gonna see, boom, bottom of the screen. You see Grenard immediately. Hold on. Watch, Grenard is pressing, and this is also what Rashan Gary was doing a lot last year when people were saying he ain't getting no sacks. Well, when you dropping back and rerouting tight ends, are you pass rushing immediately? No. These guys ain't even pass rushing at all. Grenard or Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel is number 43 at the top. Grenard is 58 at the bottom. Grenard's rerouting, so is Van Ginkel. And now Golf has the ball in his hands, but look at the A gap. There's somebody in his face already. And look at what you see. Grenard is still pressing that tight end. He's still within 5 yards. You see at the top of the screen that out route or whatever route is being run there is already covered. And in the middle of the screen, Van Ginkel's covering the seam and the in route. and that I think Rodgers upfield on the upfield shoulder of his man, who I don't know who it is, but he's on the upfield shoulder, and then Harrison Smith is over the top of that. Now Goff is already engaged with now. He's done. There's nowhere for him to go with the ball. When you got nowhere to go with the ball, you're gonna get your ass whooped. Okay. I don't care how slow the pass rush is. You like right now, if he had somewhere to go with the ball be gone. Don't matter how good that was, right? But he don't got nowhere to go with it. Look, he had to hold it. And by the time somebody broke open, which is then, like right now, again, he got the ball in his hand, don't he? All right. Where can he go with the ball? Tell me. The only place that's open is where he's looking right now, which is where he's going to try to get the ball to. But here's the problem. Somebody already on your ass and you can't step into the throw, right? So let's see what happens. Boom, boom, beat. He can't step into this throw. He got to drift back, drift back, drift back, drift back. Can't plant, can't plant, can't plant, plant. Dead. See? By the time it breaks open right now, so right now that it's not even open, but he got to the top of the route. Look where everyone else is. At the top of the screen, Amon-Ra is bracketed by Murphy and Harrison Smith. Across, you see that rub route they ran, Van Ginkel and those guys are bracketing that. You see, this is how they stop those rub routes, right? They would take their outside linebackers, like the top of the screen, you see Grenard over there. Grenard is guarding, I think that's, I don't know who that is. I think it's Montgomery though. But Grenard is guarding that on that drag, and then the opposite side, Van Ginkel's on the drag there. And you see the corners are trailing because those corners are getting beat, right? But they got help underneath, so that becomes a bracket coverage. The only place there's single coverage is outside with Rodgers over here. But by the time he gets to that top of that route to get open, his quarterback is already dead. Get that? Got it. Good. Okay. I think I proved my point with that, but somebody's still saying I'm wrong. But yeah, you don't need the craziest pass rush when you got that type of scheme. Double A gap pressure scheme is definitely great for pass rushers that are more so run stoppers, are more like the DeMarcus Lawrences of the world would do great with those types of schemes, because the fact that they keep that too high safety look there that Zimmer used to run, it makes it so that it buys your pass rushers time. They got way more time to get there, because when you're playing press coverage like that, quarterbacks have to hold the ball, and when you're disguising what you're doing pre-snap, they have to hold the ball and figure out where to go with the ball once they have the ball in their hands. They can't predetermine it pre-snap. So both those things make it very difficult for a quarterback to be comfortable. I don't care how good the quarterback is. Aaron Rodgers hated it. He hated that scheme because he doesn't know what's coming. Everything looks the same. Sometimes they're blitzing, sometimes they're not. But even when they're not blitzing, guess what? You got to treat those guys standing in the A gap like they are blitzing, no matter what. So now your defensive ends just got better just because of the scheme. Just because. How do you see guys like Van Ginkel and Grenard drop back in coverage that many times, right? And they still were all pros in 2024. Both of them had double-digit sacks, but they was dropping back in coverage way more than they was or not way more than they was rushing, but they weren't rushing as much as their counterparts, but still had just as many sacks. How was that happening? Y'all got to context matters, don't it? I'll give Bland some grace. 5th round pick that outplayed the hell out of his draft stock and had injuries. Let's see how he rebounds in a much better scheme. Thank you. I feel the same way. My boy Roy, the bone breaking machine. Yeah, he was a smacker. He'll smack you, man. Blackfoot Nation here. Oh, yes, sir. See, I knew I fuck with you, Reezy. I ain't know why, man. I knew I fuck with you, though. You know what I mean? I knew it was like, you know who was a Blackfoot that nobody know about? Remember Coco Beware? Nobody know who Coco Beware is, but Coco Beware is from North Carolina. Blackfoot was in North Carolina, man. There was I ain't gonna get into all that, but there's a book that I have that is the journal entries of all of the sailors that came here pre-slavery, and they were telling you who they were running into on the Carolina coast, both North and South, Virginia, and all the way up to Delaware. They were describing them, and they wasn't describing what you would think. You should see they were describing Ethiopian-looking people. You know what I mean? Stocky-ass people. One of their shipmates drowned or almost drowned, and the people who had flames on the beach, they had 5 big fires on the beach. They swam out, saved the young boy, boom, and then rowed his ass back to his boat. You know what they rewarded those people with? They came and raided the shit out them motherfuckers later. You know what I mean? Because they said they too goddamn nice. They killed all of them. But you know what I mean? That is what it is. Okay, what's your take on the current running back room? I love the running back room. I was supposed to get into a deeper film session, but I think I like these questions. Y'all asking some great questions. So this is what we're gonna do for a little while. And I ain't going nowhere no time soon because it's Friday and I ain't got shit to do. So I'm gonna get y'all high. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all hitting the like button, or we're gonna take a little second hit the like button. Let me see how many we got going on in here. And y'all gonna hang with me on Friday night. Make sure y'all buy me a cup of coffee. Let me see what we got going on. All right. I'm gonna need it. Let me see. Boom. Live. No, live now. Not containing Micah. It's live now. All right. It's 115 likes. Oh, that y'all doing great. 119 viewers and 115 likes. I like that. If y'all haven't hit the like button, though, still hit it because it might be some new ones in here. I'm pretty sure I had some people fall off, but you know that happens. Y'all got shit to do too. It's Friday. Y'all probably going to the club. My club days is over. I used to throw a hell of a party though, man. I'm dead serious. The same way I can bring them out on some content, I bring them out for some parties too. I'm a legend when it comes to certain parties I've thrown, like in Frankfurt, all that. You know what I mean? Like my parties here was crazy. I mean, I'm talking about not house parties even. I'm talking about like clubs. I used to fill clubs up because I do the same thing. I wasn't a guy that I'll just say this real quick. Wasn't a guy that was like I'm a popular loner, but I'm a boss type person, so I know how to get people together that don't want to hang together, but they'll hang with me. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want to hang with each other. So I had like a bunch of different neighborhoods that I brought together for like these three different groups of young men who rhyme with ang. These ang members, they ain't even ang members. They just big groups of people. I don't want to get in trouble, but they had birthday parties, so they all came out and then they was competing with each other over who can buy the most bottles. So I think we sold every bottle. We sold barrels of Ciroc. Like we sold all of the bottles of Ciroc to the point where I've never seen this ever happen before. We sold every bottle of Ciroc, every bottle of Henny, every bottle of Grey Goose to the point where by the end of the night, the bartenders were selling bottles of Cuervo. Who the hell buy a bottle of Cuervo? Don't nobody buy Cuervo, man. People buy a bottle of Cuervo though, man. That was class. It was called Time to Get Right, March 2013, man. That was dope. That was dope. But I want to give give Blue a real opportunity. I like Blue. When you ask me about the running back room, though, let's get to it. Angie, since you asked, Javonte Williams is to me a great running back. I like Javonte Williams a lot. I like his effort. I think he was rewarded the right way with the contract. I think Blue is obviously going to get better. I don't think he's going to remain where he was last year. I hope not. If he does, then get rid of him. But one guy that we don't talk about, who I think is a lot better than y'all giving credit for, who I was high on, is Maffa. Maffa can run and Maffa can ball. And I think we got the boy Izzy Anaconda, Israel Anaconda boy, right? From Pittsburgh. I liked him too. I wanted to draft him, but now I think we got him. Don't Am I lying? Is he on practice squad? I saw his name on our roster, but I don't know if it was like, they didn't update it or something. Maybe we cut him, but we had him. And if he's healthy, I like those two guys as like what ifs, right? And then obviously I like what Hunter Lipke could do, and I think so does Brian Schottenheimer. I think we should give him a little bit more. I would like him used as a Mike Allstott type guy. Stop just having him block. Let him run the ball, because when he did run the ball, he did well. He didn't screw it up for us last year when he ran it. It's just we didn't do it a lot, but he was productive. So I think you should let him smack some defenses up, because having that type of attack, if you use him, Maffa, and um, um, Williams, then when you bring a guy like Blue in for spot work, or if you look at Davis, I think Malik Davis still on the team. If he's not, I think he played pretty good though. But I like our running back room because I like the way we scheme the run. So I think that the scheme that Adam Clayton uses, or Clayton Adams, I'm sorry, uses, I think that that helps running backs, just like Marcus Dixon's scheme helps linebackers, right? So with that said, I like the running back room, but if you're asking me, do I want Love at 12, or would I take Love at 12? If we stayed at 12 and 20, hell yeah, I take Love. I would love it. I love Love. You know what I mean? I will break him down for y'all, but I just don't think the Cowboys want offense. But if they did, and Love was there, and they stayed at 12 and they picked him, I would not be mad. Love definitely helps the defense too, because if you have Love and um, Williams on this team, and both those guys are getting a lot of carries, they'll be pounding defenses into dust, while Dak gets the rest and use his play action capability. And then it makes it so that you can't even deal with double teaming CD or Pickens, if Pickens is still here. I think Pickens' situation, I think he should fire his agent too. I actually agree with Jerry on that. Mugaleta is number one. He's not really helping these guys. He's helping them get big paydays that make him look better. but he's hurting their careers and their legacy. When you look at Micah Parsons, the best place for Parsons was here with the star, and he would have made more money even if he made less on the number sign. He wouldn't have been paying taxes, so he would have made more money. Plus, all the endorsement deals that you get off ball or outside the stadium with the Cowboys. Ask Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith and those guys, Nate Newton, they still eating to this day. What Deontay Wilder said, to this day, they still eating. So when I do a deal, like if I go work for somebody, I've worked for people for free. I'm like, yo, you don't gotta pay me. You know why? Because I know just being in that room, I'm going to eat anyway. Because I just put me around these people, I'm a hustler. You know what I mean? So Jerry understand that as a businessman. I don't think a lot of these players understand where they at when they around a star. Like you around a big brand, you're gonna get commercial deals, you're gonna get all types of endorsement deals, you're gonna get kind of party opportunity. You're gonna make more money than you would have made, and you ain't paying no taxes. You went to Green Bay, and by the time you finish paying taxes, you would have made less than you would have made it playing here, Micah. He don't understand that though. I don't think he knows. And as far as Pickens is concerned, who has the same agent, okay, Pickens, you can leave. They might trade you to Miami for Brooks. Who knows? You can leave if you don't want to sign a franchise tender. You know, they trade you or whatever they do. I don't know how they get rid of a guy like you, but I wouldn't want to get rid of you. I don't think they do either. But you can leave. But no offense, you wasn't the shit. I ain't gonna say you wasn't shit, but you wasn't the shit before you came here. And it wasn't because you wasn't the shit. It was because your quarterbacks wasn't the shit. But now you got the shit as far as your chemistry with a quarterback. Like you found your Peyton Manning to your Reggie Wayne or to your Marvin Harrison. You know what neither one of those two dudes did? Bitched about the money and left. They stayed where they would have had a legacy and a career because that's what they were after. Super Bowls, legacy, and stats, and Pro Bowls, and Hall of Fames. If you want that, you stay here with the guy. You dance with the chick who brung you, which is Dak Prescott. You stay with the guy that got you there. If you want the money, go somewhere that somebody might pay you. Maybe. But I don't think you're going to do what you did here because you ain't got Dak. So it depends on where you go and who wants you. But I think that would be dumb as hell, personally speaking. You dance with you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leave it alone. But I think that David Mugaleta, whatever your name is, I think he's going to break it for you. And that's on y'all. That would be dumb as hell, though. I don't think agents have that much place in the game. They have too much influence now over where these players are going and what they're doing in regards to that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be here, it shouldn't be nobody talking you out of being here. I don't give a fuck what the money is we talking about. You know, you want to be here and you understand, like, look, it ain't about the hitting they want to have the highest. No, you're supposed to be the highest paid. Everybody ego is so crazy. It's like, do I need to be the highest paid, or do I need to be at this round? No, give me a 3-year deal, 4-year deal, and give me good money, and then I'll get you on the comeback. Ask Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith was here so goddamn long. It was like he got bad deals, but he was here so long because he was willing to take that type of deal. Tyron Smith made more money than the guy who got top end money, played good for 1-2 seasons, got cut because they wanted to get the money off, hit him with a bonus so they can get that money off their books and then cut his ass. He got paid way more than those guys that was getting that type of deal, right? But those guys look good for 2-3 years because they were getting big splash deals. But then what is the team trying to do when they're trying to grow and do other things? They need to get you off of them. You like an elephant on their back. They're trying to get your contract off of them now. So you don't want a deal that's so crazy that the team don't like you no more, or they expect so much out of you that as soon as you start to slow up, they're like, oh, there's some tread on those tires. Tread going off them tires, you got to go. So agents ain't telling y'all that, and y'all not thinking that because y'all don't got foresight. Y'all don't know business as young boys. They don't understand business. I understand business. I understand longevity. You want to be around a while, you take a deal that makes a good business, and this is what I learned in business. A good businessman is a good middleman. And a good middleman is somebody who understands how to make all parties happy. That means I can't be the only one happy leaving the table. That means I'm a shyster. I'm a weasel. You know what I mean? You can't be the only one happy. That means I got. You know what I mean? If both of y'all happy and I ain't, there's going to be some resentment. You know what I mean? But if I'm middlemaning, I'm making sure the organization is happy. I make sure the player is happy as can be. Not happy as they want to be, or happy as possible, or happy as they imagine, should I say. Happy as can be, meaning A negotiation means you're going to lose some things and you're going to compromise on some things, right? And so am I. And then we get to the greatest good for all parties involved. And if you have an organization that's like the Cowboys that's trying to grow, they are playing money ball, but I understand why they playing money ball. They were trying to play money ball as if they were a winning team, though, and they're not. You're not the Patriots. The people are doing that for the Patriots because they want to be a part of, the wins. But the Cowboys do have a hell of a brand. So Jerry is selling the brand to these agents, and these agents are rejecting the brand and telling them get your money in the guaranteed contracts from them. But you already know, Jerry don't need to pay you the guaranteed money because all he gonna do when it's time to get it off. Look at Dak. Dak get his deals. Dak ain't complaining no more. You know why? Because Dak is an ATM machine for the team. They give you this money. It's like you holding it. You the bank. But when I need some of it, I'm gonna give you some of your contract up front. You're gonna restructure, and now I get some of that money off my cap. But you still get the cash. That's how it works. Ask Zach Martin. Zach Martin got his like that. Tyron Smith, Dak Prescott. All the guys who stick around are under. If you're gonna be here in Dallas, you're gonna play ball like that. That's it. Those are the only people who stick around. If you don't, ask Dez. You get a big contract because somebody gets you the Rock Nation crazy contract, and I love Dez. But once you got that contract, they looking to get rid of your ass. They looking for you to slip up because they're trying to get that off their books. But if you take a team friendly John and you hurt or you something happen, then you're gonna be around. You know why? Because they bang with you. Ask Diggs and Bland. Bland stays. Why? He still like Bland because Bland company guy understand how to make everybody happy in the room. Diggs got Hollywood and got gone. They don't understand business. Dumb. But to your point, I know that was a long-winded question about some running backs. I don't know where the hell I went, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. All right, here we go. My boy Williams needs some Angie. My boy Williams needs some help, Angie. I don't know who you're talking about, but Angie, help him out. Perkins' role required him to play more space and coverage snaps than in earlier seasons, which changed how his impact showed up on film. I mean, people who watch me know that. If you watch some clips, I don't know who the young man is on TikTok, but when you watch that, it's very tilted. They showed nothing but low lights, and it's this guy can't get off blocks, can't do, and it's like how I get a little perturbed when I see that because some of the guys who be critiquing so hard never been good at shit. You're not even good at this. You're not even good at talking the shit about the shit. And you ain't never been good at shit else. And I'll beat you up. And I don't mean just me. I mean, they'll beat you up too. And you got on the field, you wouldn't get on the field. You know what I'm saying? I remember a friend of mine, he doing life right now. But when he was out, he played ball, but he only 5'7". Like, 5'7", little angry motherfucker with your body in jail. But 5'7", angry as hell, right? We were playing Madden. And I don't care about video games. I was a young boy at the time. He was in our 20s. Playing Madden. He beat me in Madden, right? I'm like, boom, all right. But I ain't the type to talk trash. I just don't care. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, he beat me, cool. But he started talking trash about basketball. We might even playing 2K too. Well, he talking trash about basketball. I said, yeah, we can go out on the court right now, though. You know what I mean? Because the whole house thought I was the bid. The bid mean they joking on you. They thought they was going to joke on me. I said, all right, no, we can go outside right now. Boom. Go out to the court and play ball. And I think the first time he beat me like 11-9, right? But I always was like super athletic. I'm still athletic for old head. I could jump. You can't hurt me. You can elbow me. I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? And I'm strong. You know what I mean? So he barely beat me, right? But I knew in a couple years before that, like I played JV and I made varsity my junior year. I mean my freshman year of high school in football. But I got arrested. I had to work. I had to work off a restitution because I put somebody in the sleeper hold, got in trouble. But I had to work off restitution for 3 years of high school. I was working. I had to work because I had a big medical bill to pay off with this young man who I got in a fight with. Now, because of that, I would miss a lot of practice, right? And I couldn't play consistently. I'm not trying to make excuses for why I wasn't this great football player. We were in the D League. It wasn't like, this the public league. We don't really go nowhere anyway. Rodney McCarter and Ramon Mills. Ramon Mills was like a 6'2" monster who was getting recruited by everybody. He killed somebody as soon as we graduated, so he didn't make it. Rodney McCarter played for James Madison as a safety. He was pretty good. He's a cop now. You know what I mean? Shout out to Rodney and Ramon. But I was on that team, right? We won chips. We won the championship for Bach Wildcats. You know what I mean? And my freshman year, we didn't win a chip, but my junior year, we won a chip. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I played varsity all 4 years in my sport. You know what I mean? And started and played. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right. But Anyway, we playing basketball. His sport was basketball, but he was 5'7" and couldn't make the team at Bach because Bach had some players too, but he couldn't make the team, right? I knew that. So when we play on the court, he beats me 11-9. Then we play again, he beat me again. And I said something that cooled his shit. I said, but bro, this ain't even my sport and you barely beating me. I don't even play basketball. I play football. And I won chips and I made the team with my sport. You ain't make the team. When I say mad, man, he wanted to fuck me up that day, man. That's my man. You know what I mean? We cool, but you know, he still called me. I talked to him while he booked, but yeah, he's mad. He wanted to hurt me, man. But I say that because the dudes are sitting here criticizing everybody right now. Most of them ain't good at shit. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? But criticizing. That's what they got an A game. That's what their A game is. And you got to be careful with that because you playing with people's lives and livelihood. And when you have the more negative you are, the bigger your crowd, and you got a big crowd following you, listening to the bullshit you spewing, that's tilted. And you could talk loud. I talk a lot. I'm talking to myself, really. I'm talking to a bunch of words on the screen. Y'all could be robots. I don't know, right? So I talk. I get that. But try to be balanced when you do it. And I ain't the police, so you can do what you want. But I'm just saying the people who listen to that bullshit is crazy to me because nothing is one way. Like all of y'all done fucked up at something, at work, at home, in a relationship, as parents. Ain't no blueprint for none of these things. I done screwed up I'm a dad. I done messed up, you know what I mean? But I understand, like, I ain't perfect. I thought I was telling you the right thing, young boy. You bust your head, stuff like that. So nobody perfect. But if you judge me by my imperfections, you will get a tainted view of who I am. If you judge me by the negative things I've done, you would think I'm a piece of shit. I've hurt people. I done hurt women. I don't mean physically. I mean like broken hearts. You know what I mean? I done dumb stuff. Got caught doing dumb shit. You know what I mean? But I'm not that. I'm a good guy. You know what I mean? I done fought guys and they done got hurt or I got hurt. I don't think that they evil and I ain't evil. You know what I mean? Things happen in life, but you don't judge people by their low lights only. And ain't Wallow, I did business with Wallow. I wouldn't say we friends, but we know each other and we've done business. And he did 20 years before he became the Wallow that y'all know. But if you stopped before he got out of jail and you said, well, tell me about this Wallow guy, you'd be like, well, he'd been in prison since he was 17 years old, in and out. And you'd think that he was a piece of shit probably, right? But now if you judge him from where he done post-prison, you think he a great man. Neither is the full truth. You have to tell the whole story, the AKOYE of the man, in order to get an understanding for who he is. What is his accumulation of his knowledge over his years of his experiences? That's everybody. We all are that. So that's all I'll be saying when I'm talking about a player. Give me all of that or stop talking to me. When I'm debating, it's because I'm going right back to the who, what, when, where, why, and how of the player. What does he do well? Okay. Where does he play well? When does he play well? To what teams? You know what I'm saying? How is he used when he's playing well? Why is he used that way? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm doing. And if you're not doing that, I know because I'm asking it while you're talking. And I'll ask you, well, what doesn't he do well? And then they shut the fuck up. Why? Because you're talking about your pet cat or your favorite player. That makes you a fan. I'm not a fan. I am a fan of players. I told you I'm a fan of Micah Parsons. What did I just say about him? He's a disappointment. Why? Because I'm honest about the rest of those things. If they don't check out, they don't check out, whether I like you or not. You know what I'm saying? I like Mozzie, right? Well, he got to show up in New York now because he ain't give him an opportunity for me to check those boxes off, yes or no, while he was here. He only got one real year to be himself. And then the other two, we judged him out of the door. And that was unfortunate because players can't come back from that if you judge them by their worst moment. And now all of a sudden they suck. Demo was great when he was playing, I think, with Zimmer. And last year he was, but he was coming back from a knee injury. That's context. But people talking like he's not even here. They're like, they don't even bring his name up. They talk like he's not even on the team and like he's not a great player. Like, see what I'm saying? That's wild. It's wild. But I'll keep going. I agree, Marquise. Some grace considering he gives effort where Diggs folded like a dollar chair. Like, yeah, man, yeah, for sure. He folded like a piece of origami. What's that? Origami. You know what I mean? All right, everyone. What team y'all are? Y'all going in? Devin, I know you believe in blue. I don't necessarily believe in blue. I do believe Shotty about blue. I think blue. He showed that he wasn't very focused, and then I heard other people say it that aren't Shotty. You know what I'm saying? people around the organization have said it too, and I don't think they're just echoing. I think he really is just. They weren't lying when he said the boy lazy. You got to get it together, bro. Don't be happy. Don't be boss man fat, brother. I don't think he raps though. I'm just saying he's not dedicated to ball. Team trade up or trade back. Or am I? Oh, that's what you mean. What team you on? I'm both teams. It depends on who there. You trade up, so you could trade up and trade back. If you trade with Cleveland, you do both, and I would be loving that trade. If Cleveland doesn't want that 6th pick and you get pick 6 and 39, so you get into the second round and you get pick 6, I would definitely take a top talent there. Let's say you get Sonny Styles at 6, or let's say you get Mansour Delane at 6. Let's say you get Bain at 6, or you get who else would I take there? Those 3, and I don't think Reese will be there. I'll just say Mansour. Oh, or Downs. Let's say you get Downs at 6. So those 4 that you would take at 6, and then you jumped in the second round and got me a Kyle Lewis, or you got me a Cassius Howell, or whoever is the best player available there that fits one of those other needs. I would be happy as hell. You know what I mean? Then in the third round, you go, let's say Rodriguez and CJ and all of them's gone, but you give me a Galladay. Those are our first 3 picks. I would be happy with it. You got Downs or Reese or Delane or Bain in the first round, and then in second round you're going Kyle Lewis, or who else would I say is a second round pick that I like? Avion Terrell, Keontae Scott. And then in the third round in 92, you give me a Galladay or one of those, or even a Josiah. I would take 92, I'm sorry, not 32. But Josiah Trotter, if he's there, you know what I mean? After you already got another linebacker on the team. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. Or you go in the second round and get me a Hill Jr., you know what I mean? You get 2 linebackers, or you get a linebacker and a pass rusher, or a linebacker in the corner. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bunch of ways that can go. But I would trade up and trade back that way. But if I didn't get what I wanted, one of those 4 guys aren't available for you to trade up to, trade back all the way. Both picks, trade back, trade both those picks, get in the second round and third round, go heavy, because that's where all the talent at. And then you're going to clean up. After the first round, you'll clean up. You'll get everything you want and address every position. And then Christian Parker's going into this offseason, and this is training camp, loaded at every position. Yeah, I would do that. And it gives you trade opportunities for other players that you might want to push out. Like if you don't get a Mansour Delane and you want to trade Bland, trade them if somebody want them. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. All right. Hey, Mr. DP. What's up? I think a couple more of y'all joined up. Oh, Paul Dudd. What's good, Paul? You got my number still, Paul. I ain't never changed it. Hear me, Paul used to be my neighbor, man. Paul cool is a fan. That's my homie, man. Me and his brother, I still, Maine still, I still hang with Maine, but me and your brother still hung out too. We went out last year though. It was last year for, I think it was Rob and them birthday though. We went to Ocean Prime. So yeah, man. You've been around for a long time. Paul remember when I was throwing classic parties, I was running bars and shit. I used to live next door to him when I did that. So he know who I am. For real. He don't know AKOYE. Or he know AKOYE now. Most people in Philly don't even know what I do. That's what's wild. Like they think I'm a boxing coach, which I am, but they don't know what none of this is about. Cause I have a weird thing. Like I don't bring different groups of people together, so. And like if I hang with you and I'm cool with you, I don't bring you around this other group that I'm cool with. I just hang with them over here. But I'm the same way with content. I'm like, I do this over there. I do this here. Like my business is not online, but most people if they in business, they IG is full of their business. Don't nobody know what I really do. I probably should put it out there because I probably get more love for it, but I'm not doing it for the love. You know what I mean? But I got a house full of homeless veterans and homeless individuals that I take care of every day. It's like 15, 20 of them. The house is full of them, and they all got mental illnesses or debilitating injuries. But I know if I wanted to put that out there, like, be a politician, I could. I just have a paranoia about, getting your bread. Get it quietly. Don't tell everybody how you're getting it, because everybody either going to try to get it the way you're getting it, or, the people who don't want you getting it going to come trying to stop you from getting it. It'll be a new law tomorrow. It'll be like, can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So nah, I don't say nothing about it. But yeah, people in Philly don't know nothing about this. Y'all know me because of y'all like the Cowboys, but people in Philly don't like the Cowboys. So nobody knows what I do, except for probably Laura Brunson and my family. You know what I mean? But Paul do too. You know what I mean? And that's how you know my following is organic, because there's nobody following me that really know me. You know what I'm saying? And for real, they don't even know I'm famous here. They be like, yo, fuck does he do? They know I do in boxing, and that's it. All right, but Cowboy Thanos, I appreciate you, bro. You knew too. And skeptical fan, he said, "Do you think Clowney can play in this new defense?" Yeah, but I don't think you need him to. I don't know where you would put Clowney though. Like if you put him at 4 eye, there's guys that could do 4 eye better or play it just as well that's younger, like Gary, right? Outside linebacker, he's not really an outside linebacker. You know, he's okay, but he's not. I wouldn't put him out there standing up every. I think he could do it okay, but I think Gary. If you're looking at Clowney, I think Gary's younger and better than Clowney at that position. So could he play? Sure. Should he play? No. I think he should go and do what he normally does: play 4-3, play outside, defensive end, 4 down lines. You know what I mean? He's good at that. But I don't think hand off the ground, running in space is his strong suit. Personally, I think you got young guys that could do it a little bit better. Personally, I could be wrong. You don't got to agree, but I don't think so. All right. He said Flus was ass, bro. Them baggers were ass. I mean, yeah, they was ass, but them baggers needed a front in front of them too. They weren't ass in all right. It wasn't as when we came in the 5-2, right? I'm gonna show you because it's a big difference between the beginning of the season and the 5-2, right? So let me show you what I mean when I say linebackers run free. Let me see if I got it real quick. File name Denver. Nope. Which one am I looking for? Boom. Let me get back here. Boom. You still gifting stuff, Sadiqa? Is that you over there? I seen something just jump off. Hold on, that's 12. Yeah, let me get back here. Let me see if I can find the Denver game for y'all. I'm gonna show you the difference. 3-4 looks. That's what I'm looking for. And Denver, Devin Haney. I was doing Devin Haney shit. I didn't even finish that. All right, that's one. I could put that in, remove that though. All right, let me get a couple pieces of film for y'all. I'm pulling some joints in here for y'all. It's gonna take a little second, so bear with me. Don't run. I don't know if all these is right, but I'm gonna find out tonight. Run defense versus the Vikings versus the Raiders. Okay. My dog's out there going crazy. I'm about to bring them in. All right, so look, check me out. Hold on a second. I might have to go tell my dog to shut up. They shut up on their own. Nope. Hold on. I'm gonna go tell my dogs to shut up because it's 11:20 at night. I don't want my neighbors to bitch about it. I already know. See, yo, babe. Yeah, I got it. I'm about to go do it right now. Yeah, she just called me too. Hold on a second, y'all. 1 second. I gotta go get my dogs the fuck out the backyard because they snapping. All right. Oh man, y'all really do got some love for the kid because y'all stayed up in here, man. That's what's up. Cause they was wilding. They must have heard something, seen a coyote or a fox or something, but they was going there. All right, we was doing 3-4 looks. He was talking about them backers being ass. Oh, I was running. Damn. Hold on. Let me get this out. All right, here we go. So these are the 5-man fronts, right? You see with Morris Leafau playing outside linebacker sort of. So these are the 5-man fronts. Just watch how much different Shamar James and even Kenneth Murray looked in these types of fronts getting to the ball. Damn, look, they gave up yards as soon as I said that. They was better though. Let me show you. Just flow into the ball, making better decisions. They played a lot faster when we came out in these 5-man fronts because it made it so that they didn't have to shed as much. They just had to read and react a little bit. And even when they were slower to read, like a little slower to read, they still can get there because it wasn't a 340-pound guy on you as soon as you snap the ball. This is a nickel here, so this isn't a 5-man front. But same concept. They were getting downhill a lot better at certain spots in the season when we started going to those 5-man fronts. Both of them, Shamar James and Murray. Did they look great? No, but they looked a lot better than they did at other points in the season. Like they played a lot faster. And if they were doing this consistently for the whole year, you wouldn't have hated them as much. Here's another 5-man front here. Not really, because that's Bland right there in the slot. Boom. But you can see the point. Guys were getting downhill and playing a lot better at certain points. Now, this was just raw footage, so I don't know what's on it, to be honest. I didn't cut it all up. But you can get my point here. Boom. That's my guy, Osa. Morris Leafau out here. This is that 5-man front there. And this is my point. Like, Morris is going to play a lot like Van Ginkel because you can see, he's here at the line right now. And he's going to drop here. He can drop in coverage and affect the zone here, which is good, but then still have enough closing speed. We want him to take better angles, but enough closing speed to still cut this off. And I think Kenneth Murray wound up getting a sack because of that. He pushed the guy out of bounds, but he pushed JD out of bounds. But you guys get my point. I don't got to put the whole film up here all day, but you get my point. Like these guys played a lot better when they had less to think about in regards to run responsibilities because they had more guys in front of them. They're going to give up a touchdown here because Shamar James this is why I never really liked Shamar James. I don't understand what the appeal was, but he just never really, he seemed like damn, messed that up. He always seemed like he's stuck in the mud somewhere. Watch this. Shamar James in the middle of the field right now as a middle linebacker. Watch this. Boom. He covers him in zone, right? Well, Murray does. Murray's passing him off. Shamar James just stood there the whole time and guarded grass. He didn't move. Like, bro, you don't know. Like, if there's nobody in your vicinity, first off, you should be counting. I don't know what they're teaching these guys, but you should be counting the guys who are on the release, right? Your side of the ball. So there's only there's 3 guys right now, if you're Shamar James, that you should possibly be looking at. All right. The flat, if you know the call, they are uncovered too. The flat ain't really something you should be paying attention to. The only people near you are the people you should be converging on. So right now, Shamar James should be flowing to the inside, right here where the number 12 is, and he should be flowing also because Ertz is about to cross his face, right now. Why would you still be standing where you started? I don't understand what he was doing. Boom. And then Kenneth Murray let him go because that's his job. Kenneth Murray's supposed to let this go so that if 12 were to run deep across the middle, Kenneth Murray would let that go and converge on that next route. Both 12 and whoever that is crossing the middle near the O of the Cowboy sign, right? Boom. That's where you should have been. But I don't know what the hell they was doing. So that was wild to me. I didn't understand it. When you see them in the 4-down sets, though, they looked ass. But that's enough. I didn't need to put that much film up there to see that. But hold on, let me see who else is in here as a member. New member, Drell C. What's good, bro? Appreciate that. Rowdy Henderson, 1191. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate all y'all to become members. And like I said, it doesn't go unnoticed for sure because, as I said, like y'all see me more because y'all support it. And as y'all support the channel, it helps me sit here. It helps me justify sitting here. I can't justify sitting for 3 hours every day. Well, not even 3 hours every day because I've been here since 6. So this has been 5.5 hours I've been here. I just it took me some time to prepare for the video. So I've been sitting here for like 5.5 hours and I'm not even tired. This is what I mean, I'm tired, but I'm not tired of sitting here. That's what I like doing. I'm not even trying to wrap this show up right now because it's Friday. Elam looked decent in training camp. In training camp, you ain't hitting nobody. If you look decent in a position where you don't have to hit, that's okay. Like corner, yeah, you make a lot of plays at corner. That's cool. But I don't want a corner that can't hit. I don't want a corner that don't want to hit. When I was watching, somebody was telling me about Avion Terrell. They thought that the film I was looking at, I was judging too hard because it was like he looks like he want to hit, he just don't want to wrap up. I said, well, let me be clear. I don't want a corner that doesn't go for tackles. You know what I'm saying? If you pass up on work and if you injured, and I know it, that's different. Maybe it was because he was injured, and I'm not gonna say I wouldn't do it because I would. If it's $100 million on the line and you coming at me, and I know if I hit you, I might feel good because I did it. But if I hurt myself, all y'all gonna forget about me, and I'm not gonna make it the league, and I'll cry the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I think I might miss that tackle too. I might not throw my head in there the same way. So maybe that's what Avion Terrell was doing because he had some injury concerns. So I can't say he's always stripping for the ball. So I'll give him that. But anyway, let me keep going down. He said, I lean Bailey slightly because pressure volume is usually more stable year to year than sack totals. Bailey's burst is real, but Bain affects more snaps overall. Both legit prospects, though. Yeah, I wouldn't trade up for Bailey. And I think Bailey plays a little too high for the league, personally speaking, but maybe I'm wrong. He don't got the same hands as Bain. He an athlete that plays high, but he beating the shit out of guys that's not NFL stars or NFL studs that have been drafted already. I think he'll have a rude awakening in the league, but he can develop working with people like BT, so I won't front. But I think I have that much faith in BT that I care about the pass rusher you get, but I care more about the traits than I do about your college productivity. What are your traits? Because I think BT can make you better at what you do. Do you have the frame for it? You know, and are you willing to work hard? If you're willing to work hard, you love football, you got the frame, BT can work with you. Even if you mozzie, it don't matter. He can work with you. You know, I want to be like Sadiqa and have disposable income when I grow up. Right now, I'm dealing with monopoly money. Man, we all been there, man. For a long time, I was. You know what I mean? So I get it. I was hustling and surviving. I couldn't sit here all day if I wanted to back then. I was like, man, I got to get out here. I can't do it. You know, I had to go grind and go get my money, and it required me being either on the road or being out the house. So it was like, yeah, I got to go. I saw a Nigerian dude, straight from the motherland. Bring him in as an undrafted free agent. Yeah, I would take them IPP players. They all super strong, man. Reezy, I'm retired and guys allow me to be able to help. Thanks, Sadiqa. Sadiqa really do help. Like, I ain't gonna front. Her and Boss curse me out when they don't see me. They be like, damn, why you ain't making content? Let me get this joint to focus because it's focused on the mic, not me. There we go. Focus here. Damn, my camera's smart as hell. You see that? That's why I didn't even know it could do that. I was winging it. That motherfucker really did it though. That's wild. You followed me like that's automatic, man. Shout out to Cowboys Beat, man, for helping me with the equipment because he actually donated some of his equipment. I ain't gonna front. But I was like, look, man, you need me to do some content. I got you for that one because my camera was good, but this one way better. I ain't gonna front. It's crazy that Sonny Styles and Reese have the same athletic profile but play different positions. Why can't Sonny be another Micah? He has the tools. You are asking a great question because it's already there, in my opinion. Hold on. I think that we just talked about it earlier, but I'll say it again. Sonny Styles' frame allows you to do whatever you want to do with him, but I think he's better than Reese. And let me say this different. Better to me, because I got to qualify my better, because y'all might think I mean he's better, and then y'all be like, Reese get 15 sacks a season. He might. But when I say better, I mean I can do more with you. He's more versatile. So I think that the more you can do, the better you are to me. That's how I think. Like if I'm a coach and I'm coming out in my base defense and I got a guy who can play middle linebacker, play will linebacker, play defensive end, play nickel, play safety, like not all day. He's not going to be a safety that you line up every play, but I can come out with a sub package or an exotic package where on this blitz, even though it looks like he playing middle, he got safety responsibilities, but a quarterback would never guess that. So we gonna fuck him up with this one. He's one of those guys. On this play, he's lined up at outside linebacker, but he really playing those tunnel screens in the nickel. He's not blitzing. He just looked like he blitzing. The rest of those guys blitzing the opposite side, but they're gonna slide to him because he's there and he's dangerous. So they're gonna slide protection to the right. This what Zimmer used to do to teams, and he was trying to teach this to Micah, but Micah didn't want to learn the game. But they're gonna slide protection to the right, but everybody on the left gonna eat. Micah don't want everybody on the left to eat though. He want to eat. He like that don't work for me, Zim. Yeah, that ain't work for me. Give me my sacks. I'm chasing Miles Garrett. I'm trying to beat Lane Dickerson. Lane Johnson. I'm trying to beat Sua. I want to beat just the big names. I just want to beat those guys. Trent Williams. I want to beat them. That wasn't it. If you make your team so good that you win the games, then you become like the Jalen Hurts of the defense, meaning it's just about winning, and you would win. And then you would get all the glory you're looking for because people would attribute those wins to you. They'd be like, well, since Micah Parsons got here, we done won 2 Super Bowls. But it didn't happen. And it won't happen for him, I don't think. AKOYE, you talking about Bane disruptive today. Do you feel Mesidor is? Yeah, I think Mesidor just doesn't have the same tank that Bane has, and it's probably because he does more. Mesidor plays more in space. He's more explosive. He runs faster. He's a 6'3", 280-pound boy that can change directions and ball. Like, let me just give you a little bit of Mesidor real quick. I know they're going now. I know for sure. Make sure y'all get the lights up and the memberships up, because I know when I pick college up, I know they taking the video, because they don't miss a beat when it comes to the college strikes. They get them every time. Every time I pick college up, it's nothing happening. They take those videos down, or they snatch all the revenue at least. But let me show you anyway, because I don't even care tonight. Y'all did me good with the membership, so I'm gonna go ahead and give back to the community. You know what I mean? Take one for the team, so to speak. Let me see what I got. I had some Bud Dupree there. No, we're looking for. Did I erase them? There we go. Bane and Mez tweet. There we go. All right, there's Bane and Mesidor right here.
As we get closer to the draft,
so let's watch some Mesidor. Let me pull this out of here. Get you out of there right there. So Mesidor, this is my issue with Mesidor. The only issue I had with him or Bane, sometimes they allow guys to get into their frame and they lose sight of what's going on
in the draft. And
so that part I didn't like, but I put it in there because, again, what do? The good, bad, and ugly. You don't just say you're a perfect player. You ain't nobody perfect. So why would I put just your highlights in here? I got to show you losing too, because this is what he struggles with. But I'm gonna show you what Mesidor struggles with here. Boom. Mesidor keeps, he keeps his hands moving, but he sometimes he gets his chest up too high and allows you to get in his frame. But you can see he's swiping at a guy who ain't even doing nothing. He's one of those guys that before you even start, trying to press him or trying to hit him with your hands, he already starting with his counter, and so is Bane. Bane is ready. He gives you something to punch at, and he counters. By the time you even throw a punch, he's already on his way to countering. So it doesn't matter that you have short arms when you can anticipate the hand fighting before you even have to, before that person can even engage with you, before that lineman can engage with you, you're already on it. You know what I'm saying? But he plays with good leverage too, low center of gravity, and he's strong. But look at that. He just takes his guy with him to the ball. Bane is the boss. But I'm showing you Mesidor, so you got to pay attention to the Mesidor clips in here too. Good get off of both those guys. Bane sets this guy up upfield. You're gonna fight that hand. Watch how he fights him. Before you even get touched, he already fighting. By the time he get punched, he fighting already. All right, but I want to show you Mesidor. All right, here's Mesidor. Mesidor plays more. He can play more outside linebacker. This dude is a real freak because he's 280. He's like 270, 280. He can play outside linebacker. He can play 3 tech. They use him as a 3 tech, but he can play outside linebacker or a 3 tech and do it well. Look at Bane. Bane's strong as shit. Y'all crazy. Dude's a problem. Here we go. I would take Mesidor, but I wouldn't take him. I don't think I would take him before 20. 20 between 20 and the second round is not a bad idea to consider Mesidor. I won't front on him.
I couldn't even get through the entire
Bane to me is there go Keontae Scott right there. But Bane to me is a guy worth trading up for though. Yeah, for sure.
When you watch them in a vacuum.
All right, here's Mesidor. Watch his first step. He's going to cross this guy's face fast. Boom, you seen that? Mesidor's first step is ridiculous. Bane's hands are better and he's more consistent. with his hands
did
throughout the
bring me
game,
one play
Mesidor, you're
game,
going to see gets a
like
little
after
tired at the end of the
the game was
game.
just
Even though
slowly
I
getting,
didn't
he
put that in here,
transitioned to
but
the
he got a
next
little more
move, and
tired
he
with his
moved
hands and got
around.
lazy
And then
with his
Mesidor
hands as
really
the
just
game
came
went
in
on. But that's
aggressive, man,
because
with
he
the
does
left
more
tackle and
and
just
he's more
just
explosive.
tied both of
Like
them together
Mesidor's
for a
even
loss.
running
So
in
I just like
space.
his
Like, look at
game.
this.
But
Like
he's
his
still
hustle
there.
here.
He's just
It's
reasonably
crazy.
going on, just
Boom.
hustles
Like
his
he's
way
a
in back
hustler.
there. But
Mesidor
like you
hustle.
said,
And he
just
running
really
coverage
good
too.
work and beautiful
Like I had
football.
one play, I don't think
And
it's on
I
here,
wouldn't mind having him here.
but it was a play where they threw a ball to the flats. Mesidor ran out to the flat and broke that up too. So I like Mesidor a lot. I don't think he's a top 10, 12 guy. I wouldn't get him at 12. 20, if we were still there and you got something that I like at like let's say you got Love at 12 or you got Jermiah McCoy at 12. I don't want Jermiah McCoy because he's injured. I think he's a great player. I think he'll be good second year. I don't think he'll be good this year, but maybe. But if we got Jermiah McCoy at 12 and Mesidor, and that was our first round, I wouldn't hate it because I would want to see. I would still feel nervous because I would want to see what McCoy is going to be, but I wouldn't hate that. Who do you think the three most NFL ready players are right now? Three most NFL ready. Damn, that's good. Delane, Bain. That's in the top 10. Delane, Bain, and Downs. I think Downs gonna come in and play great right now. In the right scheme. Bain has a high floor. He ready right now. Mesidor is actually ready right now too, but not in the top 10. But he an NFL ready player. Another one that's NFL ready. I think Love is NFL ready right now. There's a couple of them. I don't think Reese and Styles are where they're gonna be. I think their athleticism, if they can stay healthy, they're gonna do something in the right scheme for you. But they're not nowhere near like their tape. This is why people was arguing about Harold Perkins. I'm like, yo, I watched Harold Perkins tape for 2023. I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't care how many times you say, "Oh, you gonna do this right." Man, listen, I could do that to Styles right now if I wanted to. I could do that to Reese right now too. They tape don't look nothing like that bull tape. I'm talking about the tape that got them in the top 10. Don't look nothing like his 23 tape. He looked way better. I'm not lying. I ain't bullshitting. They don't got that. Look at their highlights. You can go look at their highlights. The people who try to do highlight reels on them, they only get like 2-minute videos because they don't got that many. Styles that hadn't made that many plays, especially plays in the backfield. He wasn't making no plays in the backfield. He's sideline to sideline guy, but he making plays that's like out here 5 yards off. But he ain't got a whole bunch of plays behind the line of scrimmage. So I can show you Styles getting blown off the ball, pause, but getting beat off the ball too, something crazy, or letting linemen get into his frame and not disengaging with those long ass arms. But why would I do that? Because at the end of the day, those are things that we already acknowledge he got to work on. I think he raw, but he is talented. He has the frame to grow into being great, but he's not NFL ready yet. Reese either. I think once I watched Reese work with BT Jordan, I saw how far off he was. When I look at Reese versus BT, I'm like, Reese versus uh even Gary. Gary with BT is a 6'5", 280-pound, 3-tech slash outside linebacker slash 4-eye guy, right? Reese is 240, 6'4". Reese, obviously, he don't know the drills as much because Gary been doing it for years with BT, but they look night and day there. The movement wasn't even nowhere near the same. So I know he got a long way to go before you get there. Reese does. Excuse me, y'all. Yoda, what's the deal? What happens if they move to 3? Curious who you'd get. If they move to 3, I'm going for Reese if Reese is there. Reese would be my top guy, and that's because I think he's more pass rush ready than Sonny is right now. And then Sonny would be, I still think he's the best talent in the draft because he can grow into what Reese can be and do more. But I don't think he's the best year one guy. I don't think that. But yeah, I would probably go Reese if I got to 3. That's what I would do. Yep. All right, let's see. TJ Watt has short arms. That's why he fell in the draft. But that's also why he worked with BT Jordan. It's funny, man. It's funny, man. All these guys that work with BT, certainly they'd be great. AKOYE, do you really want to give up a draft capital this year when you have the ability to trade back and create more spots and chances rather than reducing them? I mean, if you want to give up draft capital to trade back into the draft this year and keep the first round picks, but give up some of next year's picks to do it, oh yeah, do that. Do that. I would do that for sure. For sure. Let me see what else we got going on. Because a lot of y'all talking in here. Hey, we'll need good depth players too. Like you said, microwave mentality is an issue these days. These sweet spots in the secondary linebackers really round 2 and 4. Yep. That's where they all at. He said, I pray we get J Rod and Trotter. That would be good, man. That would be good. Let me see. He said we don't need superstars, just guys that play super for the star. Oh, I like that. You Johnny Cochran Jr. When drafting, I feel like if anything, the Cowboys would do it. It'll be if anything, the Cowboys will do it. It'll be they always do reach on a guy like that. They probably could get later. Yeah, they do reach on guys that could get later, but I don't think they're gonna do that this year because I know that they think that obviously the coaching hires that they have let me know that they're paying attention. Tell my dog to shut up. Hey Bear, be quiet. Rodriguez and Trotter are good players, but Hill affects more snaps and offers more disruption, versatility, higher ceiling, and cleaner scheme fit. I mean, I like Hill Jr. So shout out to CFO Sports, my man Jay Tuck. That's his little nephew, sort of. But I like Hill Jr. I do. I think that he'll play good in the scheme. I don't think that he sheds blocks either. So I do think Rodriguez is better than. I think Rodriguez is overall better than Hill Jr. Still, hands down. You can't take away from a guy who loves football and is a film rat, a film junkie. Like if you a guy that think like me, meaning, and I don't mean you got to be like me, obviously, that's great, but it's kind of biased to say. But if you're a guy that thinks like me, meaning you try to break the game down for yourself, or you like Sean Lee, you'll sit here for hours and hours and hours and watch film. You're gonna be so much faster, especially if you're playing. You're gonna be so much faster than the guys you're playing against. So much faster because you processing things that they don't even know what's going on. So some guys don't even know when they're being set up. It's like when I'm watching boxing, certain guys don't even know why they're getting hit with certain punches. They don't see the setup. And if they don't see the setup, it's already too late. By the time you react, it's too late because you didn't notice you were being set up. So I think that's what happens when you're playing against guys who watch that much film. You can have the best play drawn up, but if they know the play, what the hell you about to do? You know what I mean? Luke Kuechly's like that. Sean Lee was like that. And I think Rodriguez is from that cloth, regardless of who you think is more disruptive. I think Hill is more disruptive in college. But Hill had, a team that allowed him to play free most of the time, so he could be disruptive. Rodriguez had to be disruptive without that, meaning he was the reason he was disruptive. Like he would get to the spot because he is that. He didn't need no help. He was getting rid of the guy who came out to block him and still being disruptive. So was CJ Allen. So is Josiah Trotter. You can't block those guys. Let me show you, because since y'all talking about them, let's do it again. Because I know we did this before with some draft talk, but you know what I mean? It's like I said, it's Friday, and we doing it for the cardio. Let's go. All right, make sure I get the likes up, though, because I'm about to jump in here and put your guys up here. Who we want first? I don't think I got Hill Jr. Do I got some Hill Jr.? Let me see. Oh, there goes some Hill Jr. right there. You seen that? Let me. Soon I swear to God, I didn't know that was what was happening. Right, but as soon as the snap, watch this. So Hill Jr. Look, boom. You know what I mean? He lets you right into his frame. So yeah, now he recovered off that because young boy don't know what he's doing. But you're not gonna do that every time. You know what I'm saying? Like he still got a sack here. He should not have had one because he got knocked back out of there too easy. There, who blocked him? Who blocked him? Look at this. This is what I'll be looking at. Who blocked him? Nobody blocked him. It's easy to get sacks when nobody's blocking you, bro. You know what I'm saying? He in space here. I like the fact he dropped in space. He can get down there and cover in space pretty well. That was good. That was a good play right there in space. I like that from Hill. And these are things, like I said, he's a good guy when he can flow to the ball freely and he can play in space. He's good. But look, who is blocking him? These are plays that he's making in the game. He'd be like, yeah, he disruptive. He got blocked there. He got a sack there only because he had some piss poor blocking. Look at this. Look at this. This is not, he don't do this at the NFL level. Look, there's not one move he used to get off this block. He's just blocked. He didn't do anything. Boy, just stop blocking him. You know what I mean? Now, don't watch it with your heart, because when you watch it with your heart, you be like, yeah, you're just looking at the end result of the play. But who is blocking him? I'm serious. Who, that right there, was that a block? None of these are blocks. Who's blocking them? Please tell me. Megatron, my man. But who's blocking the guy? You know what I mean? It's like, remember that, Joe? You're going to miss the guy from right here. You're right up on the guy. Like, who is blocking him? He's just able to run free to the ball. Now, again, I still said, though, he would do well in the scheme because nobody gets blocked in our scheme. So that means a guy who used to not getting blocked would do pretty good, right? But he ain't no block shedder. Don't tell me that, because where the hell is it happening at? It's not happening. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, who's next? We talked about Josiah Trotter. You said Josiah Trotter. You said Rodriguez and Trotter are good players, but he affects more snaps. Now, all those snaps were great. He did affect the game, right? But he ain't had to do shit. You know it. And we ain't gonna act like he did. He ain't had to do shit. And nobody was trying to block his ass. Remove that from the studio so I can make room for the next guy. Move that. All right, watch this. All right, now who's next? We're gonna go. I got a film on everybody. Like I said, I don't even put this film up. Nobody even saw these videos because I told y'all I don't watch TV. I watch this. So that's why when I say something, y'all be thinking I'm just saying, oh, this nigga just mad. I'm not. I'm watching these guys. I even watch the guys I don't even mention. Like, here's one. He's a late round special teams guy. This is Red Murdoch. Let me put him up here. Red Murdoch, I liked, but I said, well, look how slow you are to get there against not top competition. Like, you struggling, you getting there. When you get there, you a low, yeah, but who's blocking you? Number one. And two, who are you playing against? Because you're not that fast, and you not even fast against guys who not that fast. These guys aren't that fast, and you not that fast chasing them. You kind of trailing plays against guys who ain't that damn fast, right? You're kind of chasing the plays. See, he's chasing these plays. He's coming there and he's smacking, but you're not making these plays at the NFL because they're faster. You know what I'm saying? These guys are faster than that. And you're not going to be running free to the ball like you are here. So I do like Red Murdoch, but I see why. You know, he got a 91, and this is why I don't like PFF. He got a 91 run stopping grade, though. You know that? Why do you think that is? Because he's running around against guys who can't do shit against him. So all grades ain't created equal, because how does he get a 91? And then you'll see another guy who's playing in the SEC who gets a 70, but he's doing it like this. Let me show you Rodriguez. So Rodriguez got a lower run stopping grade than both him and Hill Jr. But all run stops ain't created equal. They're not. Let's watch. Let's watch. This is why we do what we do, folks. I'm glad y'all love it like me, man, because y'all still sitting here too. But let's do it. They don't do it like this. Let me see. J-Rod. I got a bunch of J-Rod film. I'll put both of these up. Let me see if I can put both up. Boom. All right, let's watch Rodriguez. Watch what he does. Now, I don't know what this is on this film either. It's not, you notice it's not cut up. Boom. See what he's doing. Boom. Process it. Did he get off the block? Yeah. Did he take the blocker with him to the ball? Sure did. Sure did. Boom. Was he fast in coverage? No, he was just there before the quarterback even knew to throw the ball, because he know where the hell. Look, he was already going. Look, watch this. Ball is in the quarterback hand. Where's he break? He break it. Ball is still in his hand. He's already breaking. Boom. That's what I mean by he plays faster. He don't got to be as fast. Right there, he's still here, right? What's he doing right here? He reading. Now he read wrong even. They tricked him with their eyes and threw the and put the ball right inside. Boom, bam. He reacts, gets straight to it. Boom, reading, go. Smack. Now he not that fast though. See, I already say that, but that's why I say he a third round pick to me. But when he get there, he gonna take the ball from you, number one. And two, he gonna do that. You see what I'm saying? This is a guy who will get rid of you to get to the ball. There is no free holes for him to run through. He's making the holes. You know what I'm saying? He's making the holes. Now that, yeah, the guy just ran straight to him. But when you run right at him and you don't block him, if he don't gotta get blocked, he's stripping you. Like that right there. You seen that? He ain't get it. He got it here. This was a strip. But if you don't block him, he gonna strip you. You gotta block him. If you don't block him, you let him run free, he going for the ball. Look at that, boom, he getting you. And they was holding him on that one. Look, he got blocked on this one, still made the play. Look at this, boom. You get under that, go. Still made the play. He not running through gaps free. Look, this guy's in front of him. Boom. He getting rid of those guys and getting to the ball. And this is all the same game. It's not like I'm cherry picking. Boom. He's getting rid of these guys and getting to the ball. Get rid of them guys. Reading, getting rid of guys and reading, getting to the ball, getting through the mess. It's trash around him when he getting to the ball. You know what I mean? This is different. It's different. It's different. Even in coverage, look at that bullshit. Look, in coverage, he there because he's reading before you get there. Now, if he was doing this all game, I would say the same thing about him. Nobody blocking him. Right there, somebody tried blocking, he shed him and got to the ball. If he's just slashing the whole game, look, get rid of the block, get to the ball. This is what you should be doing if you want me to call you a top linebacker, right? But this is how smart he is. Look at how while he's reading, he's moving. Look, he's reading this play. Boom, read. He knows, all right, I see it from the release. It's going left or they countering. Boom. Now, all right, he got the ball. He see the trap block coming across. He gets there before the trap because the trap actually hit the 3-tech. So he's free because the trap was for him. But the 3-tech got upfield penetration and cut it off, right? Boom. There, boom. That was just a twist blitz, inside twist. Boom. He's reading. All right, you see the ball about to release. Look, plants that foot. He already on his way. He never late to the play because he understands what's going on. He's reading. Look, reading. Get rid of the block. Boom. Get rid of the block and go. Reading. Get rid of the block. Go. Okay. Force a fucking fumble on goal line. You know what I'm saying? This is not all disruption ain't created equal. And you know, you don't gotta agree with me here, but he's getting rid of men, getting rid of guys like that, you know, and still being disruptive. That's my point. He's not just running through gaps freely to be disruptive. You know what I mean? He gotta earn it. You know what I mean? So that's to me, that's slightly different, bro. It's different to me. You know what I mean? But you don't gotta agree with me, but it's definitely different. That's how many comments y'all made. I'm reading comments from an hour and a half ago. It's 12:05. Y'all dudes still going. Y'all the real MVPs out here for real. All right, so who next? You said you mentioned Trotter. I'm gonna do Trotter and then I'm gonna move on to the next question. Watch this. Trotter is another one. They ain't even in the same league as far as block shed and run stopping capability. Trotter and Rodriguez ain't even in the same league as Hill Jr. Hill Jr. not in the same league as them, should I say? He not. Look at this. Trotter space, that's okay, but he, like I said, he laboring to get there. But watch it, boom. You cannot block Trotter. He hits you. Look, block, boom. This Alabama, I think, too. Boom. You can't block him. I haven't seen him blocked. Look, try to block him. Cannot block this kid. He coming to get you through the block. Like he said, what DMX say? And if you were my man, then he getting stuck with you. I gave you the money. He coming right to you. You know what I'm saying? Coming right through you. Look, all that. That is different. It's different. You got to pay attention to what is happening in front of guys when they making these plays. Are they just running free to grass? No. He running through behemoths and still getting it. Boom. Look, did you see that shit? Watch this shit again. This is what I'm talking. Come on, man. This dude only 230 pounds. That dude 340. He said, get the fuck out of here, young boy. Get out of here. Boom. That time he's just too fast. You know what I mean? This is different. This is different. It's different. It's different. So if you're asking me run stop, you know, downhill, who's my guy? It's still these guys. If I'm looking for just downhill guy, I just think Trotter struggles in space and in coverage. So that's why he's not one of my top guys, but he's one of my favorite linebackers out there because of the way he hit and how hard it is to block him. You can't block this kid. Yeah, so different. All right, let's see. Montana, he said, what? Desi, hell yeah. It's ESPN and other guys, NFL super fan. Meet Hugging 3. I don't know what you mean. I know what that means, man. Reezy Dayton is cooked like my city. Don't let Ohio State being here fool you. A well-known man just killed at a bar around the corner from me late night. Oh man, yeah, that's Philly for you too. That's Philly too. There's somebody getting hurt every day, B. But let me read up. All right, I'm going to read right now. I'm gonna try. I was trying to get through everybody, but the reason I tell everybody to become members because y'all are live, real live wires in the chat. So just for the sake of time, I'm going to read the members for right now because there's a lot of comments in here. So I gotta do that. And y'all been going in, and I'm an hour and a half behind. I didn't know I was that far behind. Sorry, y'all. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna go from where did Megatron just say that? Damn, I'm still in 11 o'clock, 11:30. That's wild. I appreciate that. Y'all really, I really am touched by that. Y'all really going in. He said, Okoye, wait until people found out about the Tiano. Yeah, the Tiano, that's what Puerto Ricans are. They Arawak and Tiano Indians, man. Yeah, you know your shit. Reezy, you can tell how these celebs date most of them dumb as a box rocks. They keep recycling the same 5 girls over and over. Yeah, that's wild. I don't understand that. Yeah, I don't get it. When you run in the same circles, that's how they move, lazy and convenient. Yeah, that's a fact. All right, let me see. Y'all ain't asking nothing though. This is what you said in the first round. He said Mendoza, Moigua, whatever his name is, Tate, Love. Oh, you think that's how it would go? If it went like that, yeah, we trading up. Bang, Reese, Styles, Delane, Love at 10, Bailey. Love at 9, Bailey at 10, Downs 11. No McCoy trade down. You're right. But if it played out like this, we trading up. If New York were to take Bain and Reese and Styles are there at 6, I guarantee Dallas would cut their arm off to get the 6. They would give Cleveland that money. They give Cleveland whatever they want to get the 6. I guarantee it. Cleveland just would have to give up, their second round and probably a second round pick and probably a third round pick or a second round and a fourth round or fifth round or something like that. And they would give up both first rounds for that. I guarantee, and maybe throw a player in there somewhere, sweeten the deal, maybe something position a need that Cleveland need, like picking maybe somebody like that. I don't want to get rid of GP, but I don't think GP is playing the game that smart right now. Watch what GP do. He's going to be in charge of his contract. Watch. He better be, because if he lets Mugaleta do what he did with Micah Parsons, you're going to be playing with a quarterback that you're going to be pretty pissed off to have. I guarantee you, young man, don't do that. Man, that's the ritualistic stuff. I don't want to be one to get the ocean when someone else got the first hot tub. The hot tub first. Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah, no. Honestly, I'm still talking about that. Yeah, I don't want nobody sloppy seconds, man. I'm cool. I'd rather stay, alone. Y'all having some real spiritual conversations. I didn't even know y'all was talking about that. Y'all, like I told you, I'll be having crazy conversations in the chat, man. That's dope. No one is perfect. I don't see perfection in anyone. I see good and evil, but perfection never. I know I make mistakes. Oh, that's a fact. Me too, man. I made a bunch of them. Oh man, y'all talking about the grabs? I can't even say them because I don't want to say them on my live. What up, Okoye? Checking in from Myrtle Beach. What's that? Cerebral Assassin 9. We all cerebral assassins. For sure. Yeah, email me, Paul. Email me your number so I can have your new number. You late to the party. Yeah, Cold Cash, what up, man? Reezy, I was thinking more like Pacific Ocean. Damn, y'all going in still. All right, I could jump down because y'all talking about like celebrity dating up there. I don't got to answer all the members up there. You said Murray running from blocks. Y'all always going to get Murray, man. Let me see. Boom. All right, I'm jumping down again. I see what y'all talking about. Y'all going in. All right, I'm going down here. 5-man fronts. All right, 5-man fronts literally create 1 versus 1s across the line. Exactly. And those wins across the line. I can show you over and over again. Like when I was watching watching Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark work, and then watching what Bullard does against the run or even the pass. Like, you can't block Bullard or Ogbo one-on-one. Those three guys in the middle. Like, one thing that Parsons never had, one thing that Gary never had ever, that was going to make these guys better, is Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark in the middle of a field. Oh my God, that's going to be crazy. I talked about that too. Somebody talked about Pons, and some like Muhammad too from Texas. I like Pons too. I think Pons is not talked about enough. I don't have Pons film, and I need some Pons film, so I'm gonna do some Pons film. He the one I haven't watched a lot of, but every time I see him, he flash every time, and I don't watch a lot of him. Okay, let's see. I don't believe we deal with a lot of incompetence on defense. I know it may be 2 or 3 years to become elite. However, I believe this season will be better. Yeah, it will be. She said, Koya, that Elam comment was a joke. Oh, I know. It better have been. They didn't know their jobs on the D. It was like they all it was like that all year last year. Yeah. But okay. Boom. Okoye, I've been subscribed since 2017, 2018. Drell, like, you must have changed your name because I don't remember your name. And I know if you've been around that long, you're almost 10 years, 9 years in with me, whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you've been with me that long, I should remember you. So I don't know why I don't know your name. Or maybe you wasn't talking that much in the chat. Or maybe my memory bad. You're, and you must be from Philly, Montana. You're, that's our joint right there. Like, you're, what's up? Oh, she must be African. That's not my motherland, but hey, to each their own. Yeah, that's from their motherland for sure, for the motherland. But yeah, that's all good. That's all good. You on Turtle Island? Yeah, Reezy. Also, Devin Moore. He like 6'3", 200-pound corner from Florida. I could be in the mix, but I think he goes late second round. He was fun to watch. I don't like the tall, lanky corners no more, man. I want corners that can get in and out of breaks. There's not that many tall guys that can turn on a dime, stop on a dime, and get in and out of cuts. They get beat by the smaller receivers. And you can see now we're going to a league. See, the league keeps shifting like this, and what people don't realize, you got to stay ahead of it. The league had went to guys like T.O., Randy Moss, these tall, long receivers. So then to match up with that, you needed the, let's say, Richard Shermans of the world. You needed tall, long corners to cover those big-bodied receivers that will just box out the traditional corners. Like, if Terrence Newman's trying to guard a T.O., T.O. going to box him out because he's short. He's shorter, and he's light. So T.O. wouldn't even try to run away from him. He's going to get rid of him, bench press him, and get him out of here, right? So you'd be like, we need a bigger corner to deal with that. So you started seeing the stronger, stout Richard Shermans of the world, even the other guy that was across from like Browner. Those guys, Brandon Browner, big as hell. Those guys were big because they were dealing with big receivers. But now we're shifting back. You see Njigba, you see Cooper Kupp, you see Nacua. You see a lot of smaller guys that's like shiftier receivers. A lot of shifty receivers is not playing with so much power, right? You don't, everybody, it ain't that many AJ Browns in the league, you know what I'm saying? So now you need corners that can stay with that, because if you got those bigger guys that can't get in and out of their breaks, look at the Denver game and watch Bridges. Bridges is a taller corner, long, high hips, can't really get in and out of his breaks. Man, they was cooking him. Why they cooking? Because he can't get in and out of his break. He can't play in space. He can play with big body guy, but he can't play with those twitchy guys like the Amon Ra's of the world. So the league shifts, and we back at short, twitchy guys. So the Santana Mosses, you know what I'm saying? We got those guys in the league now, burners. You know, you got your Shashids, those type of guys. You know what I mean? That's fast as hell, that can get in and out of their breaks. The cheetahs, they in the league now. So you need guys that can keep up with that. You can't keep up with that with a guy that's 6'3", 6'4". It ain't that many Patrick Surtains in the league that can keep up with the smaller guys, but also be big enough to deal with the big guys. And so now that's why we got so many 5'11" DBs now. You know what I mean? 5'10", 5'11" guys. They can keep up with those guys. I gotta pay attention, man. Reese is not a pass rusher or a true edge guy. I agree. He will be with BT. If he was here, he would be. BT Jordan would get him there. You know, he wouldn't be a every down guy though. Quan again. Matty Pencil was stale low key after that Texas game. I gotta watch who Quan is. I don't know Quan. He said I want a disruptor at the edge. That's what you said, Reese. I think look disruptors at the edge. You got a lot of them. That's why I said this draft is. You got Mesidor, like I said. You got Cassius Howe. I like him. I like the boy Height. I like Height too. Height is mean. I mean, you got some guys that can be disruptive from out there. That I think. I'll make sure I ain't smell fire. I thought I smelled smoke for a second, but I don't know. Maybe it's the fucking computer running hot or something. But I was like, yeah, let me make sure. But yeah, you got some guys that I think could be disruptive in this draft that you don't have to get in the top 10. Angie, him and Styles are one of one here in Ohio. We are built like them as linebackers. I was the first one to be built like them, but Reese from the land, like the true freshman that was trucking them. So you got more of them out there. That's crazy. Montana, you're like Montana was good. Montana, I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Autocorrect may object your statement. But I tend to always saying some deep, half profound shit, man. I ain't gonna lie. It'll be interesting to see what undrafted free agents they sift through. Oh yeah, yeah, I would get those big guys though. Styles from my city, and Columbus is true sports city. Yeah. PA is a true sports state. Like you know what I mean. Except for Philadelphia, it's like I think Swift came from here, came from Philly. Uh, Saquon dad is Philly. Saquon not from Philly though, but his dad is. Our dad was, I think. You got Reddick. Reddick is from Camden, which is kind of Philly. They like across the water. It's like Oakland and San Fran. Um, yeah, but it's not too many guys that's like from Philadelphia. You know what I mean? My man, he got to the league. He ain't do nothing in the league either. Sharif Miller, my man trained Sharif Miller. Sharif Miller from Penn State. I don't know why he ain't do nothing. I don't know what happened to. I think the worst thing that happened to Sharif Miller was getting drafted by the Eagles. You like I should. Worst thing that happened to me in college was coming home. I transferred from Lincoln and went to Temple. Going to Temple in Philly, where I'm from, I'm cutting. I wasn't even in class because there's just too many people I'm around that's distracting me. I was always running around. You know what I mean? I was missing classes and doing stupid shit. But when I was on Lincoln campus, I couldn't go nowhere. I was just focused on school. So, but I got in like a car accident that was crazy. So came home, transferred to Temple. Shouldn't have did that. I mean, I should have did that. I like everything that happened to me after that. But if I wanted to graduate college, should have did that. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I understand what you're saying, but I think that's what happened with Sharif Miller from Pittsburgh. I mean, from Penn State. Quan, Matty, Patricia didn't use Reese and Styles like he did versus Texas. Oh, okay, that's what you're saying. All right. I want Mesidor. I don't care about the age. Those hands and that size and Bennett, he NFL ready. His injuries, he kind of injury prone a little bit, but I like him. I don't care about his age either. Montana, so you prefer Styles? I think Styles got the best. Him and Reese, I'll take either one, but they got the best frame to grow into. Let me see. I'm almost caught up to y'all. Mesidor 24, Bane 26, Love 22. Bane is 26. I ain't know Bane was that old. So damn, Mesidor younger than Bane. I thought Bane was a young boy. Bane an old head. That's why Bane beating up them young boys like that. They kids them. He's smacking the shit out of them 18-year-olds, man. He said, recent Styles NFL ready, bro. Do you not understand that Ohio State is the only program in college that has all NFL staff? When I say they're not NFL ready, I mean they're not what they're going to be yet. You don't know what would they be doing in the NFL is what I'm talking about. You know what Bang going to be doing. You don't know what Reese is going to do yet because he's not. I'm not saying that he hasn't trained, but he don't have to hand. And even for them to have an all NFL staff, remember, Miami also got Jason Taylor, who was in the NFL and probably a Hall of Famer. I think he's a Hall of Famer or will be if he's not already. But you can see their hands versus Reese's hands and Styles' hands. They don't got the same kind of hand placement and hand fighting that those guys have. When I say NFL ready, I mean they already have the tools to beat the NFL level guards and tackles with their hands. Reese and those guys can do it with their athleticism, not with their pass rush skills, regardless of Ohio, bro. I know you from Ohio, but no, they ain't got that, bro. I ain't gonna lie for you or to you or about you. You know what I mean? But nah. Andy, good. I don't want their careers getting wasted. Oh, you think like you don't want them here? Oh yeah, no, I want them here though. I wouldn't hate on them. Reese only played 1 year. For real, for real. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Reezy, not really. I just watched a lot of college football, and them dudes were mid until their 7th year in college. Yeah, that's true though. Yo, Montana in here cooking. Yo, you in here killing them dudes, man. Like that is true though. They said they wasn't shit till their 7th year in college. That actually is true, man. Fucked up, but it's true. Yeah, but guys who only played 1 year is good. That's why I still like. I do think that they are going to grow into it. But hey, you got guys. That's why I said they got a higher floor though, because they coming in more ready. You know what I mean? They are. Y'all killing them. He said Reese way more than an off ball as well as same as Styles. I watched Sonny and his brother Lorenzo since their AAU and Pee Wee days. They different. Also, Styles' brother's dad played. Uh, Styles and his brother's dad played 10 years in the NFL. Yeah, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I wonder where Lorenzo going to go though. I think Lorenzo can be good in the league. He fast as hell, running the 4.2. Where Lorenzo Styles about to go? I think he should go in like the fourth round, probably third, fourth round. AKOYE, speak of boxing. What's your thoughts on the bare knuckle fighting? I like watching it. It ain't the same as boxing, but I think I got a boxer, Too Raw, a Raw Cut. He fought on one of my cards for Gillian Wallow when I did the Gillian Wallow knockout party. He cool. He used to spar with Zab and all of them. He pretty cool. But he just started doing the bare knuckle like 2 months ago, something like that. And he cooking over there because he can box. And those guys are just tough street fighting guys, and he boxing their heads off. So yeah, he doing pretty good over there. I think a good boxer can kill over there. If you are a guy who has really boxed for a while and you go into mixed martial art or another sport and you actually really take it serious and spend some time cross training in that so that you're not deficient, yeah, you're gonna kill. You're gonna kill, and he's doing pretty good. All right, I'm not gonna keep going with Montana because you going there. You said Devin Moore. Is Devin Moore the kid from Michigan? Is that his name? Devin Moore? I don't know. But if it is, number 8 from Michigan, I like him a lot. Nobody talking about him at all. Devin Moore is disruptive. See, I remember Lorenzo, what I'm saying. I think that they can be game wreckers at off ball as blitzers as opposed to being DPR. I don't know. DPR. What's DPR? Down pass rushers. Being dedicated pass rushers, I guess. Which would allow NFL coaches to game plan against them. Yeah, if they was just pass rushers, I guess that's what you mean. I got you, Quan. But yeah, if they was just edges, it's easier to find them. But I don't think that teaching them to pass rush means that you're going to make them edges. It means that on third downs, that NASCAR package is nasty, is what it means. It don't mean you make them edges full time. I think that would be a mistake for both Reese and Styles. I think Reese is he could play middle linebacker or can play out. He could play every linebacker position, and then on third down or in your base package, he could be another guy that erases the flats and 15 yards back. So 15 yards and outside, he can control that, but also he could be TJ Watt basically. He can also be a guy that can pass rush at a high clip from outside linebacker. He said Trump changing things for college sports. I don't know. I ain't see it, Angie. All right. All right. We about to go because it's almost 1 o'clock. I've been on here since like 9. So yeah, I've been here since 9:30. That's crazy. All right, we've been past the point, but I'm going in on it. Y'all, I said I was gonna read y'all shit, and I think that some of y'all got some stuff for me to read. To put up film wise, so that's why I'm looking. And then we go jump off. Angie, yeah, because you guys got Fernando Mendoza, Bame, Mesidor, and other guys playing 7 years in college. Yeah, like I said, you've been killing. You came ready today, Montana. I'm on front. The SCORE Act provides a framework for compensation of student athletes for the use of their NIL. So essentially, trying to disassociate the athlete from being represented by the school versus on their on their own. Oh, okay. Got you. So you basically saying that now they can represent themselves, and the school does not have full 360 ownership of the player's image, right? So they can get paid. That's NIL. But um, the Score Act, I don't know nothing about. I guess that's what Trump is doing. I'll read up on it. Jaden Duger, you Louisiana. Jack Kelly, BYU. I looked at Jack Kelly. Renee Conga, DT from Louisville. I think he came in for 30 visits, so I'm gonna look at him too. All right. What up, Okoye? I don't miss shows. I have to run them back. Yeah, you definitely do. What's up? What's up, Dave Walker Vine? Y'all can hear it in my voice. My voice getting deep. Like it's time to go to sleep. Moving up to 6. Who we taking? We moving up to 6. I take any of the playmakers that's up there. It's only 4 that I want. If you move up to 6, I know Bane was 26 though. I don't know if I want him at 26. But if you move up to 6, you take Bane. You take guys that can contribute today. Bane, Downs, Reese, Styles if they're there, or it's 5 of them, or Delane. Those are the guys that I would take. I don't care which one of them there. All of them can change your team for the better. Right now, you need any of them. All right, let me see where we at. Y'all be having dope ass conversation. If Dallas trades back, would you grab Thieneman? Yeah, I like Thieneman. I don't like him in the first round, really, not much. I think he jumped up there because of his speed. They more like the old school type when we play everywhere, like the ones that San Fran had. Yeah. Okoye, hey, check out the linebacker from Oregon. What's his name? I'll check him out. No, I was joking. He 22. Oh, all right. I was about to say, man, but he left high school early and played like 5 years. Oh, all right, bet. I thought you were serious. He was 26. I was like, damn, if he 26, that's fucked up. I don't want him at 26. Who you 12 and 20 right now? I don't like nobody at 12 and 20. That's the problem. But if somebody, so the only 12s I like is if somebody slid to 12. Like if Downs ain't getting a lot of tick. They ain't talking about him. If Downs is there at 12, I'll take him. And at 20, I would take any good pass rush. There's a lot of them. So I would take Mesidor at 20. I would take Howe somewhere up there. If I know I ain't got no second round picks, I'm taking a pass rusher and I'm taking whoever the best player available is at 12. That's a defensive player. And I'm taking a pass rusher. Now, if that best player available falls like it's Bane at 12, then I'm taking Bane. And then I'll jump back and take whatever the best DB or linebacker is at 12. I wouldn't even take a linebacker at 20, though, in the first round because you got so many of them in the second and third round. I think if I took Bane at 12, then I'm looking at DB at 20, meaning the best DB available. And that probably that could be Emmanuel Warren, that could be Thieneman, it could be a number of safeties or corners that you could go with there. I think that it's a little early for Keontae Scott, but if I don't have a second round, I might take a Keontae Scott there and Bane first round, two Miami guys. I wouldn't be mad at either one of those picks, to be honest. But right now, I think you're taking best player available at 12 out of those guys that slide. But you would need somebody to fall in order for that to be a reality, in my opinion. So yeah. All right. Okay. Let me see what y'all talking about. He said, "Bro, I'm out. I'm about to see everyone later. Y'all all, I'm outlasting everybody. Y'all gone. I'm the one doing all the talking. My 12th and 20th are going to be are going to Cleveland. If you ask me, me too. But what we're gonna do is this, man. I see y'all kind of tapering down. Y'all was trying to hang with me. I appreciate it. I need to go upstairs and chill my damn self. But I was going because I hadn't been here. But it's been 3 hours and 11 minutes, and I'm loving every minute. Make sure you guys who haven't done it already hit the like button. Make sure you share it. You subscribe for sure. Join up because you see the members, y'all going in on like they have some crazy conversations that ain't got nothing to do with me at all. But y'all doing it big over there, man. I love the fact that y'all AKs is really AK and keep firing off like that, man. And I'll talk to y'all soon. The beige boxer, I gotta answer your question because of your name. Bane only played 3 years at Miami. He played in high school under Armor All-American game in 23. Oh damn! So you wrong, Montana. We got somebody who know just as much as you in here because I ain't got the research on the young boys because I ain't gonna follow them like that. But see. Peace and blessings, everybody. We out.
And a coochie, you want to threaten to? You gonna put your hands on me? You gonna put your hands on me? Y'all threatening to put y'all hands on me on behalf of Clarence Rack? I see. Y'all don't really care that much. Y'all just thought this was a good opportunity to try to dogpile. Y'all